So guys and girls and cats, okay. Welcome to this channel. I'm Lovecode in Berlin. I'm a German Hearthstone streamer, and today I made a video about like every important white deck that is out there right now. I made the same video in German, but I wanted to reach more people, so it is just natural to do it in English too. Hopefully some streamers will react to this and it will get the reach that I wish for. I mean, I put a lot of effort in this. I have a lot of experience in Hearthstone and I want to share my knowledge. And yeah, this is what I want. Yeah, if you don't know me, then hopefully now. Okay, what I prepared is like a PowerPoint presentation. This is me as Hulk, and we will go through every class and make an overview what is there, and then we will dive deeper into this. First of all, we will start with Reno Decks, also like a general thing that Reno Decks have. So when I go to the Reno Decks later, then I can say, okay, this is what we know already, and this is the adaptation. This class has these and these strengths, maybe weaknesses. I don't know if I will do it like this. I mean, it will be a long video. Guys, this will be a long video, most likely in German. It was like 3 hours. We will see if it's similar or not. Okay, also, last thing, Death Knight has like only one deck. Demon Hunter has like only two. I could have made a third one, the Odd Demon Hunter, but I didn't because it is so old. But after this, you have at least 3 or 4 decks, and with Rogue, you have the most, I think. I'm not sure right now, but you will see. I hope you enjoy it, and so let's get started. Thank you for your help, guys. Special thanks to Barono, who told me, hey, why don't you make a PowerPoint presentation? He made stuff like this a bit similar too, and I more or less copied his angle of how he makes this work. Because before I made a bitmap, and then it was like not really good, and the PowerPoint presentation is a real upgrade that I did. Okay, let's go. We start with Reno Decks. First of all, Reno Decks have the have to have a certain, oh my god, Bedingung. I really forgot the English word, oh my god. Condition, okay. Reno Decks have the condition that you have only one card of each type in your deck, also only one, also you have no duplicates in your deck, but they changed it recently a little bit, which is sad. As usually if your deck has no duplicates, then blah. Now we have it a little bit different, like when your deck did not start with any duplicate. This is a bit sad because like we have a Death Knight that I particularly did not like and never played, but it was a really nice way to counter Reno decks, and this is not possible anymore. And I think this is sad for the game, because when you find ways to break the meta, then you should be rewarded for this and not punished by being nerfed and shit like this. So, okay, Reno has a very easy construct. Most of the Reno's deck, also like everyone has Seth. Everyone has Reno. Most of them have also the character card. Most of them have the full heal guy. This is like what it is all about, or what it was all about in the first place. Then you had like Kazakus, Alestraza. Now you have this Marut Stonebringer. They are so good cards, also the first 3 at least. They are so good cards that you take the disadvantage of not having 2 cards of a very good card in your deck, right? And for example, the Reno is super strong. He clears like the enemy board and prevents the opponent next turn to build a board. Also he has only 1 space left, and this is like super good. I mean, it's super late, but this is like an effect that is unbelievably good. Seth brings you, like most of the time, I mean, I also saw some Seth fails, but he brings you like a very good card that you need in a certain situation. For example, you can kill an opponent. Yeah, you can remove a secret that will prevent his death and stuff like this. And Reno, of course, heals you to the fullest. And these are really, really good tools that you can use to value up your game. Yeah, Kazakus is not really seen anymore. And Alastraza also. Kazakus was for a long time a very good card, but the power scaling of Hearthstone has reached heights that these two cards are really not good enough anymore, which is kind of funny. And now you have this Marut Stonebinder, who is something in Standard. I have never seen this guy in Wild. Yeah, you discover an elemental, also you discover something, and the other two you get on your hand, and the third one you summon, and this is like a 5/6 summon other minion. This is like a turn 7. This is way not good enough for any kind of magic. This is really not good enough. Okay, Reno decks don't only have these components, but Reno decks most of the time are kind of control-y decks, and decks that can mess with your strategy, whatever your strategy is. For example, you have this Dirty Red that can pull out stuff out of your hand, as minions that you need, for example, to start a winning combo, like a one-turn kill or shit like this. Mutanos is exactly the same. Lower tap increases the cost of spells of your opponent next turn, which is also very, very strong. With this you can prevent counters, you can slow down your opponent very much. You have another guy for 4 mana that is basically the same like lower tap, just weaker. And maybe I could have also taken it here. He has tradable, is also a very good card for this type of deck. And you have this Razor Scale most of the time. Here's a very, very, very important card in most of the Reno decks, because what wins a lot in Hearthstone is some kind of mana cheat. You can see it with Dark Lair in a Warlock, also something that refreshes your mana crystals. You have stuff like that Miracle Rogue, Giants cost 0, spells cost 1, preparation, coins, all these things will cost 2 now, and this slows down these decks so much. It's like a winning condition to have this guy on the field against decks like this. Yeah, there's also a combo priest that is similar. Also, a lot of strategies are around mana cheating, and this Razor Scale, for example, really stops that. And here's then target number 1, and this is a very important card. Yeah, I mean, if you play combo decks, then you will realize pretty quickly when you see this guy that you really dislike him. Also, what Renos most of the time have is like Lorekeeper Polkit, or the Paladin has a spell like this that reorders your deck from the highest to the lowest, and with this you draw next turn your Reno, your Shudderwalk, your whatever what you have, Death Knight or whatever. This is like taking out the variants, and then you have a clear path in the game after this. Yeah. And of course ETC, but ETC is not something really Reno specific, I think. But there you have extra tools like Raise Dead, another Dirty Red, whatever you like. Also more control-y, hindering tools that mess up the strategy of your opponent. So this is what has to be said, as this is a basic construct of any Reno deck. I mean, you will have a Reno deck that maybe has no Razor Scale, or not a Dirty Red, or not a Mutanos. This can absolutely be. But when you look at Mages, at Druids, at Paladin, at Priests, super 100% in Warlock, yeah, then you will just have this. It's like very important to cover up certain strategies to enable a win, or to enable the possibility of really hindering your opponent in doing what he wants to do. Yeah. When we talk now about other Reno decks, then I will say, okay, this is what we have already, and then in addition comes this and that. Yeah. Okay. So first class we have is a Death Knight. Here we only have one deck. I mean, I could have taken another deck in, but it's not really played. I never see it, but it should have a place in my opinion. This is like a Blood Death Knight that is like a control warlock or shit like this, but control warrior. But yeah, you don't have Odin and stuff like this, and so I guess it's not good enough. But it was, at the start, it was a really good control deck, because aggro is always so present that it actually had had its importance. Yeah. So it would have its place. So, excuse me if my German is not perfect. I am German. If my English is not perfect, it is like because I am German and it's not my native language. I look a lot of shit in English, but yeah, you sure realize this is not my native tongue. So the Death Knight that we have is a Plague Death Knight. It is nerfed now, unfortunately. I really dislike it. I mean, I really hate this deck, but I liked that there's a strategy like this because it is an important tool against Reno decks. Yeah. Especially with Renatal being unnerved with the 40 life again instead of 35. Reno decks are more good now against aggro, and so it shifts more. Also, Hearthstone for me is always like a rock, paper, scissors game. And sometimes you have decks that are rock and paper, for example. Yeah, but also that you are good against more than one opponent. And Plague Death Knight was like a really good counter against Reno. Because he could not play these Reno effects since when he had 2 plagues of one kind in his deck. And especially with Hylia, which is the most important card here, absolutely, then you hard countered this opponent, but you were bad against aggro, for example. And this is what is said for me, but yeah, I never played this. I have like 10 Death Knight wins. I have so many Hearthstone games, but not Death Knight. It's just a class that I never got really into, and yeah, maybe I missed a lot here, but it's just not my style. I'm more like on the light side of things. Okay, but anyway, this is a very, very strong deck, as it was at least, against Reno. And this Hylia card is such a pain in the ass. It's really horrible when your opponent plays it on turn 4. It's like really discouraging. It's really bad motivation, and this is something good. When you demotivate your opponent, then I think you did something well. Yeah, psychological warfare is very important. Deck lists will also always be below in a text file. It was just too long, so I could not copy it in the German version below the video. So I had to make an online text, and I will have this in the comments here too. You will see. Okay, this is like the only present Death Knight deck, which is a pain in the ass, and yeah, try it off if you like it. If you really want to fuck up your opponent, then also mess with him, then do it. Next class is the Demon Hunter, and now you will always see that there is an overview like this, where I put one card for the deck, also the card that defines the deck. Of course, I could have chose different things, but also sometimes there's more than one possibility. Meow. But yeah, here in the Demon Hunter you have let me improve my video a little bit. Zack, zack, zup. So, okay. You have like Quest Demon Hunter, and you have like this Fell Demon Hunter. These are decks that are not present anymore so much. I mean, this Fell Demon Hunter is kind of there very seldom, and even more seldom you see this Quest Demon Hunter. I could have put the Odd Demon Hunter here too. This is a deck that the Demon Hunter had from the very start of its existence in white. It was like the first Demon Hunter that was made in white, and it was a really, really, really good deck. I would argue it is still kind of good, but it has not improved. So, like all other decks have improved, evolved, become stronger and shit like this, and Demon Hunter did not. Also the Odd Demon Hunter. But actually, I saw some of them recently, which wondered me. Yeah, it's still a good deck, but yeah, it's actually Demon Hunter is a class that's more or less dead in my opinion. But okay, maybe you prove me wrong, or yeah, if you have anything to say, I would love to make you to make a comment and discuss with me, or insult me. Just tell me what you think, and then yeah, I gladly answer, and engagement is king, right? Okay, the Fell Demon Hunter is pretty interesting. I tried it out like I don't know, a month ago or so. I found it is not too shabby against aggro, and this is what I really like. For my my taste is like one-turn kill combos and control decks, because I just hate aggro. I don't know why. It's my style of play. I am satisfied the most when I can punish aggro decks. This is really what I like the most in Hearthstone. I don't know why it is like this. I don't know if you are similar, if you are especially like, they want to play their combos, so I play aggro. This can also be nice, because when you kill the opponent at turn 4, and he tries to play a stupid, like a castle in the clouds, yeah, then yeah, punishment is cool. But yeah, I don't like playing aggro. And I had the feeling that this is good against aggro, and this is what I liked about it. This deck has this weapon inside, the Soul Eater Scythe, and it consumes 3 minions, and then you have these souls, and then you can discover one of your 3 minions. And this is a pretty interesting mechanic that I liked a lot, because then you can put this U-tune out, or this Fel repeater, depending what you need right now. The 3rd minion that is inside is just something that has spell damage. And I did not put it here because it's just spell damage, because you have spells that make damage, and with spell damage you make more damage. And yeah, also basically you play a lot of Fel spells. Very important here is, for example, Mana Burn. Yeah, this is like super important, yeah. And you can, when you play this guy, he repeats everything you did, which can kill your opponent, which can give you a lot of attack, make a lot of damage, and is hopefully your winning move. Yeah, but yeah, it's not particularly strong, but I had the feeling it's good against aggro, so I actually liked it. This is why it's in the video, but it's not particularly strong, especially not against any kind of Reno deck, in my opinion. But yeah, I don't know if I'm not 100% sure with this. Yeah, okay, but funny. So next one is Quest Demon Hunter. Quest Demon Hunter is a little bit comparable to Miracle Rogue. You draw a lot of cards, you exchange your hand with this Gaslight Gatekeeper, which was nerfed and has 4 mana. And also sometimes I did not found a new deck list. Then I took the old. This is like, here is exactly the case. Also, you exchange your hand, you draw a lot of cards. This is, of course, how you fulfill your quest. The quest reward is that you get a minion that will reduce the cost of the cards that remain in your deck for the rest of the game, which is quite a nice upgrade. Mana cheat is king, so it's very strong. And it has these Mirror kind of like things that, for example, you have this taunt, and for each card you drew this taunt, it costs 1 less. So you can make a mana cheat that it costs 0, which is very strong. Then you have like here these philosophy. I really like how the name is here. Also it's like philosophy, but with this Fel. Also I really like this name stuff here. Then you can copy it and buff it, and then you have more of it. And this is pretty strong. Also can be pretty strong, because it's very possible that turn 4 you have like 3 of those guys and 1 of those on your board. And this is like a pretty strong play, especially against aggro decks, if you survived so far. Yeah, but yeah, it can overrun you pretty quickly like this, but he has to high roll a bit for this. But this is the main strategy. For me, also, it's very important is in this deck also Mana Burn. This is like one of the best cards in the game, I believe, because on timing it can kill really bad. And what I really like and hate about this deck is this Glide card. This is a 4 mana spell that replaces your hand with 4 cards in your deck. Also you put your cards back in the deck, then you draw 4. The outcast effect is that your opponent has to do the same. And this is a very strong thing here. When you have especially a control opponent who draws a lot of cards and waits for his combo or shit like this, and then you replace his hand with 4 random cards in his deck, and you destroy his mulligan and everything. This is a very, very strong play. This is really good. It messes really a lot with your opponent. And this is what I love about this deck. But what is missing for me here is some kind of endgame move. For me, in this deck, you need a Togwaggle or a Tony to swap the deck with your opponent or copy his deck. Because this effect that all the cards in your decks are cheaper, you cannot use it when your deck is empty. So this is kind of a weakness in this deck, from my opinion. But with a Tony or a Togwaggle, you can remove it. When you have Togwaggle, it's very important that you use this weapon here. This weapon has the effect that every time you play an outcast, the death rattle is you draw a card more. So what you do basically is play Togwaggle, and then you destroy your weapon and draw like a lot of cards out of the deck of your opponent before he can swap it back. Yeah, and this is like the final thing that misses for me here, but pretty interesting deck, and yeah, also never underestimate silence. Next class is a Druid. Druid is much more versatile than the Demon Hunter, because you have a lot of different archetypes. Archetypes, I don't know. Yeah, archetypes in English, right? You have a Mill Druid, you have a Reno Druid, you have some kind of combo Druid, you have Togwaggle Druid, which came also again back, as it was back, but now in this mini set it became even more popular again, and you have some kind of aggro deck. Also, Druid can do like everything. This is pretty amazing, and for this is to say that I put this combo and Reno deck like together. I will do the same with the Paladin. You can, of course, make a deck with only this kind of win condition that you have there, but the Reno deck most likely has it too. So it was easier for me to put it together, and yeah. So first of all is one of my absolutely favorite decks of all time, next to Mill Rogue. Mill decks have the win condition. They want you to overdraw, they want you to draw out your deck, and they want to kill you by fatigue. Yeah, they want to control you, survive you, and then yeah, mess with your deck, like you have to draw all the shit time, and then you burn a lot of stuff, and you cannot compete. Yeah. The Druid has this wonderful card to process for this, which was nerfed from 2 to 4, I don't know how long ago. And so for the rest of the game, you draw 1 card more. Of course, you can combine it with Solar Eclipse, so you draw 3 instead of 1 every turn. And you can do this combo twice, which means that you and your opponent draw 5 cards every day. Every day. Every day now, like every turn. And this is like super overkill against any kind of slow deck. I mean, I don't have a big priest in my deck list, I believe. But when you have a slow deck, or your Shudderwalk or Reno decks in general, they are more slowly. They have very expensive cards, yeah, to be on curve and very strong. Against an aggro deck, it's like meaningless. When your opponent has like only 1 mana cards in his deck, it's not a problem for him to play out everything and then get the ammunition he needs to kill you. Yeah, like the weakness of an aggro deck is that he does not have a good draw. But this is like you are digging your own grave here, right? But against any kind of slow deck, it's a wonderful strategy. It's just so beautiful. Also, there's also one not aggro deck like the Quest Warlock, who is like the exception here, because he when he fulfilled his quest, his fatigue damage is your damage. So you will kill yourself. This is like an opponent that you can beat like 0% of the time. You can only beat him when you can destroy his quest reward, which is like basically impossible, but yeah. So, also, he draws 5 cards. Naturalize puts also is also very important there. Ramping is a thing, okay. What's also very important here is that I don't see it here right now, but it most likely is in the ETC. You have a Jade Idol. This is like a card for 1 mana. You can either summon a Jade Golem, which will become stronger with every card you play, or you shuffle 3 of those cards in your deck. And this is very strong. Yeah, because when you can refill your deck all the time and your opponent can't, and you draw like each 5 cards every turn, this is super hardcore. Yeah, this is a really nice strategy. I mean, yeah, it's sad so much aggro is there against the Shadow Priest. This is not going to work, but beautiful. Yeah, Reno Druid. Okay, now is the first time we have a Reno deck, and one big advantage the Druid has against the other classes is that he can generate mana crystals. He can ramp. It's called ramping in these Hearthstone terms, and this is pretty good, especially against other slow decks. Also, Reno is more like a slow deck. It's not the tempo aggro mana cheater. I kill you turn 4 or 5. It's like late game deck. Yeah. So, and ramping gives you a significant advantage over your opponent, because also with Guff you just have more mana to use, which means you can play stronger cards, you can play more weaker cards. This is pretty strong, and this is one side of the advantages of the Druid. Yeah, he has a lot of cards. I mean, there's like again, there are 5 other more cards that can ramp. He has like a shit ton of those. Yeah, but he also has other things. Okay, I think it's on the next page. What he also has is like stuff like Elise. Elise is also not very often seen anymore. Also, it's very good, but I don't see it anymore. If you have no duplicates, you can duplicate your hand. So if you have 5 cards like Reno, Goof, like for example this Reastraza or so, Titan, yeah, then you can just copy it. You have it 2 times, and this is pretty good. I mean, now it's not used anymore, but it was very valuable, and it's actually what made the Reno Druid become a thing. And yeah. Then he has this dragon that if you did not start with the duplicate, you summon this dragon nest, and this dragon nest generates value for you every turn. You get a dragon you got to pick a dragon, and he is cheaper, I believe. I actually never played this card, which is funny, but I think this is the effect, and it's pretty good. I mean, I only played against it, and when you are in like a value war, then it's pretty strong. Yeah. Also, what's very important is this Flobidinous Floop. This is also a guy that copies your last minion. For example, if you played your Titan, he becomes your Titan for 4 mana with stats of 3/4, which is very good. I mean, you can have motives like you play the Titan, you refresh your mana crystals, you play this guy, and then you draw your hand full of stuff like this. Yeah, and this is pretty good. You have also other tools that are in the Reno Druid, but these are very specific Druid-like. I mean, every class has a Titan that gives certain possibilities, but with the Druid, it's really hard how you can generate mana, how you can make combos possible with this and hit hard. This is pretty a thing. So, what is a very strong strategy with the Druid is some kind of Aviana combo. Now you have this Puppet Master Dorian that is back. Also before he was different and was only used for Mechatoon. But this Aviana is a little bit like this Puppet Master, and you can also you can use the Puppet Master now to be Aviana similar. So, but the Reno Druid has a very strong motive, and this is like an Aviana combo with Bran. In this combo, you have the preparation that you need a lot of crystals, you need Bran, you need Aviana, you need ETC, because most likely in your ETC you have the combo pieces, and these combo pieces are Alestraza and or Astalor. The thing is, you have a lot of mana, you play Aviana, then you play Bran, then you play ETC, which has like these 3 cards in it. Then you set the opponent's health to 15, and then you just kill him with Alestraza. Also pop, doof, dead. Yeah. Or you use it with Astalor. Astalor and Bran is a really, really hardcore killer combo. And with this Flubinius Gloop that we had before, this guy that is a copy of your last opponent, it is even a longer, more destructive combo. Yeah. This is like a really, really nice OTK, which hits pretty late, but it is very, very strong. Also, what I really like in this kind of deck is like Kazakuzan as a backup plan. When you fail with your, for example, you can only play one ETC, or you were disrupted in any way, an important combo piece like your Aviana was destroyed, stolen, gotten out of your hand, whatever, then Kazakuzan is a good backup plan. Yeah, you have a lot of dragons in the deck, and when you play him, so only 4 other dragons, is it true? Was it only, because this is not much right now. I think, wasn't it not nerfed? Okay, anyway, then you craft a new deck, and these cards are very, very strong. They are really killer. It's like a 10 mana spell that makes 24 damage in the opponent's face if his board is clear and stuff like this. Then you have board clears that silence everything and remove it. They are basically like a Reno without removing locations, but it's super strong. Whoops. Yep, Windows security, hi. I like this deck quite a bit. This is not a Reno deck, as you see, 2 times Nourish here and Poison Seeds. This is also very important. Poison Seeds is super, super strong for, especially with Floop's Glorious Gloop, which was nerfed. And there's a guy, a legendary, Wing Commander Mulverick. This is like a super hardcore board clear. Poison Seeds makes 2/2 out of everything. Then you play the Swing Commander, and then you can dup dup dup. You can like clear everything. And if you played Floop's Glorious Gloop before this, then you have a lot of mana that you can use in this turn while you destroy the board of your opponent. It is like a super swing turn opportunity, or for example, Floop's Glorious Gloop with Poison Seeds and then Scales of Onyxia or something like this is also super good. This is like a super swing turn that won so many games for me. I cannot tell you how many. It's just unbelievable. Very strong combo. Of course, you can make it like not in a Reno deck like this is, for example, and I can just tell you this is a hardcore shit, yeah? Next deck is the Togwaggle Druid. Togwaggle Druid is also very, very old and has to do with Aviana again. You had also Kuhn, who refreshed your mana crystals. You played like Aviana, then Kuhn, and then Malygos or whatever, or Togwaggle. Also, Malygos was also a thing. Maybe Malygos will also come back. But this Aviana, that your minions only cost 1, make things possible like this here. You play Togwaggle, and also Aviana, Togwaggle, and then you can play Azalina. And this makes your Togwaggle effect permanent. Also, I mean, there are also Togwaggle Druids that swap your deck, and then you get with here Due Process, also like this Mill Druid combo. Yeah, like you kill him then like this because he has no deck anymore. Like you play Solar Eclipse and Naturalize, and your opponent draws 4 cards into his fatigue, which can be super, super strong. Yeah, and then 2 times maybe, and then do process or whatever. I mean, drawing these 4 cards will make 10 damage. Then 15, 21, 28, and so on. As I mean, 35, when he drew 7 cards, then he's basically dead if he is not Renatal or so. This is also a possibility to use as a Togwaggle deck. Because you see here's Togwaggle and here's Naturalize, yeah? But I don't see, right now in this list, I don't see Due Process. But this is like one motive. The other motive is to permanentalize your Togwaggle's effect. Because when I swap your deck, and then I get a copy of your hand, then I get the spell from Togwaggle that my opponent will use to to claim his deck back. Yeah, so when he plays his 5 mana spell, next turn I play the 5 mana spell, and his remaining deck is forever mine. And this is like very, very cool. I hated the strategy, and it's when Also, you can only win then when you are already stronger, and then you can overcome the Druid. It's like, it doesn't matter that you have a deck, because you have like a lot of damage in your hand and you can kill this guy. But other than this, in the long run, he will win, because you have no more resources left. He has your resources, which is also very important here. Also not super important, but it's also a thing. It's of course that you draw out your own deck pretty quickly, so you can give your opponent garbage. Yeah, this is like a thing. But also if he has some kind of combo deck, like that he has not access to his full combo anymore, is like also the win condition, that he does not have his, right? And this Togwaggle Druid is also coming back now because of this puppeteer guy here that you see. He also made it possible, because it's very easy for you that you play like this melon also, that you draw or the highest card in your deck. Yeah, and then he will just give you a cheap Togwaggle and Azalina, and then it's also a thing. Another thing of the Druid is like he has Token Druid possibilities. Token Druid was a very, very strong deck back then. And now it came back a Treant Druid. Here I don't have a deck list because I did not found it, but I met opponents like this and I thought, okay, why not put it in? Because maybe it's a thing that is coming now. Basically, you place a lot of treants in. You have a lot of spells or minions that can generate treants. You have a lot of things that do things with treants. Also, like make them 5/5s, or for every treant you played, this card costs less, and so on. The spell here is like a card like this. Yeah. Also, but there are also older cards, much older, that have a different, similar effect, but they are just not so strong like this combo is. Basically, you flood your board with treants. For example, this one costs no. Then you play nothing. Then you play here. How's it spell called? Funnel Cake, the Priest Druid card that overheals. That can target 3 minions, and for each overheal you get a mana crystal back. Yeah, so with this you can mana cheat, and for example play this here overgrown beanstay stuff. Man, I should have swapped it, so I don't care. I don't know the name exactly in English. But here you summon a Treant 2, and then you draw so many cards as you have Treants on the board, which can be pretty much, and which can be pretty hard. Yeah, because then it can be very possible that you draw 5 or 4 or 6 cards. This is very, very much. And if you have another Funnel Cake and can cheat out another Treant, and then you come to this endgame combo, like this Cultivation. This is like a board buff that gets cheaper with every Treant you play. For example, you fail at first, but then you have your board full, and then it costs 0. Then you use Solar Eclipse to really hardcore buff your deck. And this is very, very, very strong. This is like an aggro combo that killed me a few times because I could not clear the board, or I did not know what was coming here. Like the first time. Pretty interesting strategy, but yeah, I don't know how good it really is, but it came up and managed to kill me, so I thought, hey, I give it the room. Maybe it's not coming, but I found it pretty interesting, and it's a bit like an aggro deck, but I think that against a Shadow Priest or a Pirate Rogue or so, also the real aggro deal, or just an Evil Shaman, I think it would fuck up against it. But to be honest, I'm not sure. I did not play this deck a lot, so I cannot really tell. Okay, next class is a Hunter. Hunter only has 2 classes, also 2 decks that are relevant in my opinion. This is first this Huhuran Hunter, and then of course the Reno Hunter. You also had like Quest Hunter and also 2 Quest Hunters. Also there are 2 quests. The one is like basically a Reno Priest that shoots, and with every spell it you refresh your hero power and you can shoot again. This is something, but it has not really changed. It is not really met. Also it's very, very seldom that I see a deck like this, but yeah, I would not say it's relevant anymore, but it absolutely was. And there's another Quest Hunter where you buff your minions. You give them attack, and then it's like basically a board board flooding aggro deck. Yeah, but these decks are really shit. Especially this Hururan Hunter is very new because of this egg here, which came recently. I was a bit surprised because one-turn kills are all nerfed. Yeah, this is the only one-turn kill that is not doomed to turn 6+. This is the only deck that can be achieved at turn 5, I think. Because the other one-turn kills are just 1 or 2 turns later. Also from what I think, yeah. This mystery egg has the effect that when it dies, the death rattle is get a copy of your random beast in your deck. It costs 5 less, and then you have these 3 beasts in your deck, yeah. Basically, it's good if you have this already on your hand, I believe. But I never played this combo. I wanted to, but I've seen it quite a bit of times, and it's like pretty hard to play against because you don't know if you should kill the egg that's on the board or not. Yeah, this is like I'm still not sure if it's the right play to kill the egg when the opponent plays it or to let it be. But when you let it be, then he will do the combo next turn. Yeah. Also basically what you do is he triggers the death rattle, and then he gets this card again and again and again and again and again and again. Yeah, and then in the end he plays this Reno, and then like everything has charged and goes in your face and you die. Pretty interesting one-turn kill. A little weakness is that it's possible that he only has these rush minions, and then he does not get this or this, and then this could be. I'm not sure about this rush minion because to activate the effect, it's not a battle cry like here. It's like a death rattle. You have to run into something with this lion to trigger the effect, which is a little bit of a weakness. So I mean, I would think it's stronger with only those 3. But when you draw it, then you also need Sir Finley or so to put it back into your deck, which is also a little bit problematic. But for stuff like this, you have this Stitch tracker that gives you a copy of a minion in your deck. With this, it could work. Yeah, it's an interesting deck that killed me. I can only say, hey, try it for yourself. It's really, really interesting. Whoever thought about this was pretty smart. Yeah, and I believe he was also number 1 then. Because it was something new and it was really meta breaking, and this is what I really like when something like this comes up. It's also not particularly expensive. Like any Reno deck is way more expensive than this. So yeah, try it out. Let's go. Next one is the Reno Hunter. Here, for example, you see 24,000. It's like 3 times what the other deck was. Yeah, from the price. Reno Hunter has a Reno Hunter is a deck that I have to admit that I don't respect a lot. I think from these Reno decks is like one of the weakest. I dislike it. I think it has no place. I mean, I am absolutely biased here. I'm apologizing, but I mean, you have this Dino Tamer Bran that will summon a King Crush. So you have at turn 7 an 8/8 minion. This is in white, in my experience, not good enough. Yeah, this is just like, what is this win condition, man? What's this, man? And then you have this 4 mana guy that is immune this turn and attacks all enemy. I mean, this is basically a board clear. Okay, it's nice. It's a 4 mana board clear. That is a minion. Then at the end, is something. And what the hunter is good at is he has, first of all, he has secrets. This deck has a lot of secrets, which makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And this is something that can fuck up the opponent pretty bad. Yeah. Then you have these tracking and stitch tracker stuff where you can get copies of stuff in your deck. Also, I mean, the tracking does not do this, but the stitch tracker, this is pretty nice. Then you can force your secrets on the board or replay them. You have pretty nice hero cards. Also, this hero card is good. Then the Death Knight was also a thing in the Reno Hunter before, because it generates a lot of value that you can make a zombies every turn and so on. Is pretty nice. But yeah, it can be pretty valuable, this deck, but I never played it myself, only when it was with the Death Knight, I think. There I got my 500 Hunter wins. Hunter is not a class that I play a lot, so I cannot say a lot here, I have to admit this. Yeah, the secrets can be pretty unnerving, but yeah, this is a deck like when I realize my opponent is is Reno Hunter, then I immediately lose respect. It's like a weakness, but it's like what it is. I would not recommend this deck, but I'm not so deep into this, so excuse me, maybe I'm wrong on this. Yeah. Next class is a Mage. Okay. I wonder why did I make objection here. The Mage has 3 very strong decks. First of all is the Quest Mage, then you have the Reno Mage, and then you have the Secret Mage. Secret Mage is therefore like as long as, maybe as old as Hearthstone. I don't know, like the 3rd expansion or so, I think Secret Mage really became a thing. I'm not sure, to be honest, but I don't know when the Explosive Rune came, but this was the day Secret Mage was really born. Then, yeah, Quest Mage is like Unguru. It's very old. It's unfortunately it was nerfed like 5 times or so, or even more often. I don't know. And Reno Mage is also a very old deck that's very strong. It's, in my opinion, the most difficult deck to play from my own experience. I saw a lot of guys that play Reno Mage so well as when they were my opponent, but when I tried it, I was not able to execute it that well. But it's a really fun deck. I really like it. It's super good. Yeah. Let's start with the Quest Mage. Quest Mage was nerfed a lot of times in different ways. Before, the quest was lower. I think you only had to cast 6 spells or 5. I don't know. I could swear that this was nerfed 2 times, but I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. And then you had like things like Evocation was like a very good card for the Quest Mage. Then this was made more expensive. Then it was de-nerfed and stuff like this. But the most important thing is that before you had the Quest Mage, and after, you fulfilled your quest and then you killed your opponent. Now it became, recently, it became a thing that you can reuse this Time Walk. Yeah, it was a 5 mana spell. Then you had this Grey Sage Parrot that repeats the last spell you cast that was 5 or more, and then you could play it next Time Walk, next bam. And then you could, with Potion of Illusion or so, get him back on your hand and then do it again. And this is exactly the same with Romat. Then this guy was nerfed. I mean, this card was nerfed once or twice. Then Evocation was nerfed. This one was nerfed. Now this one was nerfed. And again, this one was nerfed in the way that you cannot reuse the Time Walk anymore. Before you could do like 100 Time Walks. I had certainly a lot of games where I made a lot of this, especially with Romat. It became much more easy, but even though it hits later, but yeah, this is my friend. May I say hi to my friend? Oh, here, say hi to my friend's asshole. So, oops. And yeah, so what's a bit sad, these are gray now, they are dead. I'm very sad about this. It was like one of my absolute favorite decks of all times. And it was also nerfed like with the, it was also nerfed with the Apprentice and shit like this. This was always a very strong deck, a very wonderful deck, which was very weak against aggro in my opinion, but I never played the Reno version. Later in the Reno we come back to this because it was implemented in the Reno 2. But yeah, rip Parrot, rip Romat, rip Open the Waygate. thank you for everything, man. It was a wonderful time. I am really sad about this, to be honest. And the quest mage now. Before, it was like this, yeah? Before this, it was like Apprentice and Flamewaker, or Apprentice and Antonidas or so. Now, you play your quest, and either you use Ignite with Stargazer Luna, or also with apprentices, or with apprentices and Antonidas, or the one I like the most, to be honest, is with apprentice and Flamewaker. It's very, very strong. I mean, it's weak against aggro, but it's really fun, I can tell you. When you have this sorcerer apprentice and you can copy it with this reverberation, and there's another card here, buy one get one freezed. You can pretty easily at 6-7 mana, and with the cookie he's also very important, the mana biscuit, you can very easily get 3 apprentices, and then you go from there, and you can go pretty far with it, especially if you can reuse a mana, also if you can rewind the mana biscuit, or you find another one, then it's over. Then you are able to execute your combo, whatever it is. Yeah, you have a lot of draw and shit like this. It's a deck that makes me smile. Yeah, I really love it, especially with the Flamewaker. I also love the text of him, because the text of him says, here's a Flame Waker and not a Flame Walker. Here's like summoning the flames, not walking through them. This would be crazy. And I always called him the Flame Walker, and then someone told me, hey, it's Flame Waker, and especially it was really, really, really funny. Like walking on fire is crazy. I really love that one. Great one, Blizzard, here on this thing. Yeah, wonderful deck, very strong. I have played so many games with this. It's one of my all-time favorite decks, and yeah, I love you, I miss you, and I want the apprentice to cost 2 again. Okay, now we come to Reno Mage. First of all, Reno Mage implemented the Waygate. That you have another turn is, of course, pretty strong. It's also in the other deck, it's a win condition. In this deck, it's just super value. I mean, with Romat, you could also repeat it, but this is over now, because the Time Walk can only be executed once every game. This is super valuable. Then what makes Mage super strong is that they have an ice block. They have the possibility to not be dead, and this is very strong. Like no other class has this, that you when you take fatal damage, prevent it and become immune this turn. Then ways had to be created to play around this, like destroy secret. Seth is very important for this, because Seth can destroy a secret, and this is an ice block. Or you use like the elemental that every time your opponent draws a card, you get 2 damage. Because Ice Block does only activate in your turn. Also in the opponent's turn, sorry. Ice Block only activates in the opponent's turn. When you can kill the mage in his turn, for example with the Death Rattle that makes damage to the enemy hero, or this card draw damage, or stuff like this, then you can play around Ice Block, but it's pretty tough. You have to tech against this, so it's like special, and these are very strong things. Also I have another turn stuff, and you cannot kill me. It's also very hard when he has 1 HP, you kill him, and then he plays Reno. And heals himself fully. This is pretty disgusting, to be honest, but pretty strong. Oh, sorry, my cat, when he comes here, I have to tell him that I love him. I love you, who is a big masculine, manly Yagi. You are such a man. Okay, sorry. So, which is also very strong in this deck, is when you play Reno, there is a Reno ability that refreshes your mana crystals. And when you have this one, you just win with this dragon. Because this dragon has the ability that this is like, you can do it all the time. It's like, also when you had Reno Priest before and you discovered this dragon by any miracle, then you just won the game. Because then you shoot, boop, boop, boop. You only have to hope that your opponent does not have 2000 armor or so, that you cannot kill him in one turn from the how much damage you make. But then you shoot 2 damage in his face like 20 times. I don't know how many times you can do it per turn, but you kill the opponent then. Yeah, this is a super strong motive as a late game finishing move that's pretty strong. But Mage has other very, very nice things. Also away from the ice block, this solid alibi is super, super strong. Frost Nova is super hardcore unnerving, very strong card. When you have a lot of opponents that go through the board, for example in a Fire Priest or something like this, he cannot kill you with spells, he has to kill you with making damage with minions. Yeah, and Frost Nova, when you can repeat it somehow with Rewind, with Commander Zivaras, shit like this, then he is stuck, he cannot kill you. Or even Shaman, also even Shaman has some spells to kill you. But this is super, you board lock your opponent, and this is really hardcore. When you can do this more than, also like several turns, this is really frustrating for your opponent. Then you have this Commander Zivaras, which is really good, especially in Quest Mage, also when you use the quest. When you can get Frost Nova back, Solid Alibi back, an Ice Block back, this is so strong. This is just unbelievably good. I love this woman here. She is like a very, 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 or this Mana Biscuit, yeah? This very, 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 very good card. Then Reno Mage before had also this Luna's Pocket Galaxy all the time. It is like a card that every minion in your deck costs only 1, and then you have Elisa, or was it Elisa? What's the name? Elisa? Stargazer Luna, sorry. Stargazer Luna, and then you play Alestraza, Reno, blah blah blah, Dick. As you play all fucking big shit. This is very, very strong, Luna's Pocket Galaxy. But of course you need, also I mean 7 mana is not cheap. You need to have the room to be able to play this card. Also it has a pretty interesting character card. Before Reno, also before the Reno character card came out, also the Death Knight was used sometimes, because it's also very valuable when all your elementals have lifesteal. With your hero power, when you kill something, you summon a frozen elemental and stuff like this. This was also pretty strong, but here's more like the hero power possibility that how you scale up your hero power and kill the opponent with this. Also, it recasts a spell from each school you've casted. I mean, to get a Frost Nova, a Solid Alibi, or an Ice Block is pretty nice, yeah. And other things, I mean, Arcane spells, okay, Evocation is not what you want to repeat, but in the Frost department you have pretty nice stuff. Reno Mage, very strong deck in my opinion, the most difficult deck to play, but maybe I'm wrong here, but this is from my personal bias, and yeah. So next deck from the Mage is a Secret Mage. This is like a deck that I hate the most from like, also there are a few decks I hate, and this is very, very, very top tier hate. Yeah, it's a deck that is very old, very hard to play against. It generates a lot of damage. It became, no, it did not become weaker. The other decks became stronger, but it was so strong before, and it's like one of the decks that can hard counter other decks. There are decks that cannot win against the Secret Mage. I mean, for example, if you are the Quest Mage here, yeah, this one. For example, you have Stargazer Luna and Ignite, and here Sorcerer's Apprentice or so. Like you have like, I don't know, 4 minions in the deck here. Also 1, 2, 3. I see 3 minions in this deck. Yeah. Ah, here, Finlay. 4. 4 minions are in this deck. When you meet a Secret Mage and he has like Objection and Explosive Runes, then you cannot play your combo. It's just shit. Yeah, in this case, you would need to sacrifice your Finlay to get on this objection here. Yeah, you cannot execute your combo because your opponent will just hard counter your shit. This is very strong in Secret Mage number 1. Number 2, Counterspell is also such a good card. When it's timed good, it wins games. It's like Objection. These 2 secrets can win games when they are timed good. Also when they are timed well. For example, there are things like turn 5. You have a board, you kill your opponent almost, and then you play Objection and he cannot play a Reno. Also I hate this Objection card anyway. This is like one of the most disgusting cards that there are. I mean, Counterspell is similar, but Objection is more hardcore because you cannot activate the battle cry of your minion. And this makes Objection just vomiting. Before it was like you only go face with Secret Mage. Every single shit you have, you just go face. And then you have this Flag Mage against aggro, and then usually you had this Cloud Prince and this 2 mana guy. They are not even here anymore. I don't know why. There are 2 minions. One makes 3 damage, Battle Cry, when you have a secret. The other one makes 6 damage, like a fireball. Pretty strong. And what is worse on this deck, also what the worst is in this deck, it can generate a lot of tempo. For example, you have this, where is it? Ancient Mysteries. This is a card that draws you a secret and reduces the cost to 0. Which means that at mana 2 or 3, also when you have the coin, you can play 2 secrets, and then this guy's cost 0 here, this guy. This would cost 2 now in this case, yeah. But when you have like Counterspell and Objection, and then you play this guy, then your opponent has a real problem. This is like a really bad start. Before, this Kaba Lucky was nerfed here. Before, it had the effect that Battle Cry, when the next secret you play is 0, now only this 2 mana Anonymous Informant has this effect. But before, every opponent that played a quest could fuck up. When you are turn 1, you played Kaba Lucky and when you played Kaba Lucky and Counterspell, good morning, then the opponent was forced to play the coin to prevent his quest from being destroyed. And I had a lot of games seen where the opponent just played the coin anyway, played the quest anyway, and it was just countered, and like the win condition was destroyed like turn 1. And this is like no other deck can hard counter like this. Yeah, and now it's not possible anymore. I believe this is why they made it that the next secret costs 1, because it was just disgustingly good. Yeah, really, you have like also these Togwaggle Druids. They are like Druids, or there were Druids that had like Aviana combos. And Aviana has 5 health, and this Explosive Rune makes 6 damage. So there is no Aviana. Yeah, when it comes, it's just dead. As before with Malygos Druid and so on. This is like really one of the decks. They are hard rock, hard paper, hard scissors. Yeah, and when you are like what they count, you are just dead. Okay, next class is the Paladin. Paladin has also evolved into pretty interesting things. It is very versatile. It's not a class I play a lot, especially not the aggro versions, but it became pretty interesting what you can do with Paladin. You have a pretty hardcore aggro Paladin. You have like something that I call Exodia Paladin. I don't know what the real name of this is. It's like it's like an Exodia play. Then you have a Mage Paladin, you have a Reno Paladin, and you have a Holy Wrath Paladin. That can also pretty easily be implemented in the Reno. Yeah. Okay, let's start with the aggro Paladin. Aggro Paladin is flooding the board, playing this Crusader aura maybe 2 times. You can stack these auras. This is so disgusting. This is pretty ugly. And then you just kill your opponent. You have like things like Call to Arms. Or, also, okay, halt differently. Also, these are the spells. Yeah? You can... There are also spells that... Are the two sides of spells? Okay. Also, you can do shit like recruit 2 minions. You can play this aura. You have 2 pretty strong cards that prevents minions or spells of your opponent next turn. Most of the time only Rebuke is used. Cold Feet not so much. Yeah, you see Rebuke here. Because Cold Feet would only be good against like Renos. Also like it's turn 5. You are almost dead. Play Reno or you're dead. Yeah. But the thing is... even if the guys then play Reno, most of the time they're still dead because this here scales up pretty hardcore, especially with the minions. We have, for example, this Crab Rider, which is so important in this deck. Yeah, and it attacks. It has Wind Fury, so it attacks 2 times, so it buffs itself 2 times. You don't have a lot of minions in this deck, but you have 2 pretty important ones. These are the most important ones. Yeah. This Nerubian Web Lord. Every minion with Battle Cry costs 2 more. Also, needless to say, this deck has no Battle Cry minions. So, the disadvantage you put on the field is not affecting you. This is very important. And this is like very strong against a variety of decks. Like every Reno deck has tons of Battle Cries. Like Quest Warlock has like every minion except for a giant and Dark Lair is a battle cry. Secret Mage before had a ton of battle cries. Like a lot of decks use a lot of battle cries, and this is like a serious disadvantage that's super strong. He becomes the target. We had a minion before. So this dragon. There was this Razor Scale whatever dragon who makes like every card costs at least 2. And he's similar to this. He becomes top priority number 1 when he's on the board because he is like so unnerving for the opponent that he needs to die. It's imminent. It has to happen or the opponent is just crippled. Yeah. Then you have like this showdown that you summon 3 guys for your opponent too. But you counter this with the prismatic beam or with your aura. Yeah, then you have this mining casualties. So you have a lot of possibilities to fill your board. And then you just go in for the kill. I must admit I hate this deck. It's pretty strong. It's hard to play against when you don't have the right removals. And you need a lot of them. Yeah, this is pretty bad, but yeah. But I'm lucky with my... when I played Combo Priest, this is a deck that I played a lot. Or this Time Walk Mage, that there's not much of a battle cry, so I'm not affected by this much. Yeah? Also this is not really much affecting me, but it's pretty disgusting, pretty strong. I would argue that this is one of the most strongest decks that run around right now. Also, especially with aggro, with Pirate Rogue, Aggro Priest, and even Shaman. And I think this is better than even Shaman, but I don't know. Yeah? Also, very strong deck. Really good. What I forgot. This weapon here is also disgustingly good. I hate this weapon. I play in a Fire Priest as a combo priest, and then I have like then against Aggros, I play a really big taunt. I play a taunt and then I buff him. Yeah, and then he can just can make a 3/3 out of it and kill it. This is really disgusting. This is like silence, but even worse. Next deck is the Exodia Paladin. I have not found a deck list here, but I think this is a pretty interesting and strong deck that could be pretty significant. It had a huge upgrade with the last expansion because of the sing-along buddy. This guy that triggers your hero power twice. The strategy of this Exodia Mage is reorder your deck. Yeah, you only have these 3 cards as expensive. The Death Knight, the Dragon, and Call to Arms. Yeah, these are the only expensive cards you have. The rest is very cheap shit. So like secrets and stuff like this. What you do, you reorder your deck. Then you play this Nosdormu. Both guys have 10 mana crystals. Then you play Uta. And then the last turn is you play Call to Arms. You get these 2 guys. And then you press your hero power 2 times. And when you press your hero power 2 times, then all 4 horsemen are summoned and you won. Yeah. I mean, especially when you are a Reno deck or so, it's hard to counter a strategy like this, because the most easy counter, or the easiest counter to counter this, is kill the opponent early in the game with like a hardcore aggro deck. Yeah, but you cannot. When this happened and this, and then you don't have the damage, or you don't have the one. Oh my god! Yeah, sorry, I'm sorry, but he's lying there like this. Yaki, what are you doing, man? Sorry. Also, especially as a Reno deck or so, it's pretty hard to kill your opponent sooner than this. Yeah? I mean, I believe this is a pretty valuable strategy. I did not play it, to be honest, but I played against it a few times, and this here is a serious upgrade. Okay, next deck is Mage Paladin. In the Paladin, first we need to start with the Mage Warper. Mage Paladin was a thing for quite a long time, and the Mage Warper was a 2 mana guy with 2-3 stats, and he was generating so much tempo. You had like pretty cheap minions, and then turn 2-3 you were like filling your board, bam 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 bam, and then you said to your opponent, deal with it. Yeah, like have fun, good luck and have fun. Yeah, so now first this guy was banned completely, and now he became a 4 mana guy, so Mage Paladin hits much more sooner, but this Inventor's Aura is like basically the same. Also, so I don't know. What is strange with Blizzard, I see it a lot of times, Evocation was a very strong card with this too. You have the Quest Mage, you make the card Evocations, you fill your hand with spells. Also, you have a huge supporting card for the quest. And then you nerf the quest. And here it's the same. You make a card. Also, this guy he was so good that he was banned and now nerfed. And then you make a 2 mana card that has the same effect. I don't know. Also, I don't know what the Blizzard guys are thinking with things like this. I really don't understand. But anyway, I mean, so Mage Paladin, there's also Mage, but I did not count it because it's too sad and not really significant. Mage Paladin is like better, like the Mage. The Mage was like with the Mage that every time you play a Mage, you distribute 2 damage aboard the enemy's board, across the enemy's board, and here you are more like magnetize and build a strong board and attack like this. I don't like this Inventor's Aura so much because it destroyed a very important combo this deck has before, and this is this Raider thing here. You had this Vindicator who draws a spell that costs 3 or less, and this turn it costs 0. Like in a Mage Paladin, you only have Mages. Like this is the only not Mage, and this is the only not Mage. Like this, yeah. And so when you had this card basically meant draw 5 cards. Yeah, or when this was at the bottom of your deck. So this scans the bottom of your deck, and everything that is a Mage you get on your hand. Yeah. So I mean, these 2 cards are the ones that are not drawn by this card. So basically, this might really draw 5 cards, and when you're unlucky, it's less. Yeah. So what you are doing is you build up a deck that is magnetized. Before there was also a hand buff component into this. This is not so anymore, I think. And then you have like this. This Mage is very important. A dragon that has Rush and Wind Fury, and Wind Fury is very strong when you Wind Fury with a lot of stats into the opponent's face. Pretty strong. It's not so present anymore. Maybe I could have left this out. But I mean, I thought I see it a few times, and it was a pretty significant deck. It's like Secret Mage. You don't see it often. It was very strong. It's not so strong anymore compared to other things. For example, to this Reno effect. yeah, with clear the board. But yeah, okay. Okay, now we are at Reno Paladin. And we are talking about what the Reno Paladin is good at and what his specialties are. First of all, you have this Finley, which is not so... Okay, no, it's pretty significant. The hero power of the Paladin is most of the time shit. Yeah, it's just shit. And this Sir Finley was a card when you have no duplicates, you get an upgraded hero power. Also you discover one. For example, Warlock. It's like draw 2 cards, don't get damage. Hunter is make 3 damage to the opponent. You can, okay, summon a totem is shit. Odd demon, also demon hunter would be nice, make 2 damage. I mean, the Druid is similar. Rogue gets a 2/2 dagger. You get from a shit 1/1, you get something that you can use. You make 2 damage with Mage and so on. Yeah, this is like, everything is much better. Especially when you get Warlock or so. Yeah, Warlock or Hunter are pretty bad. Yeah, they are really, really strong. And yeah, if you can swap this, it's pretty good. This is first. Second, now you got the Spirit of the Badlands that gives you a lot of value because every turn it copies into something in your deck. Also a minion in your deck. Then you can play it, of course the Mirage then disappears, but next turn it comes back. It's pretty good. Also it gives you a lot of value, and when you are Reno against Reno, value can be pretty significant. Against aggro, you don't need so much value. You just need to defend the shit that is thrown at you. But against especially other Reno decks, it's pretty good. Also, the Reno Paladin came pretty late. It was a Reno deck that came so late. I hated it because I am like the Warlock Priest Mage guy, like the Kazakus cards. But Reno Paladin emerged, and it was since then a very, very strong deck. What's pretty significant in this deck is like this dragon here, which which put you and your opponent on 10 mana, which accelerates the game pretty hard. Then you can, of course, with Polkit or this, what is the name in the court, you can reorder the deck that you only draw the strongest cards, which is very, very good. And you have this character card. This is very good. The weapon is insanely good. You only get half damage as long as it is equipped. And this is very good. I mean, the Battlecry, make a Nova. I mean, okay. Or what's Evesk? No, what is the... Also in German it's fire. I don't know. There's 2 damage to all. What the name in English is right now? Concrete? Oh, fuck. I don't know. This is not so strong. I mean, it's nice. But like the Death Knight of Priest was like 100 times better. But the weapon here is really good. Okay. Then you have like win conditions that are insanely good. For example, Order in the Court was a card. Yeah. You have Holy Wrath with this, which is an own class, which I will not talk about extra. I will just talk about it here. This is a motive that is super good. When you have this Shivala and Molten Giant, yeah, you play Order in the Court and then you play Holy Wrath in the face of your opponent. I mean, it's pretty seldom that you have both on your hand, so you make at least 20 damage into the face of the opponent, or 25. When you combine it with an aggro priest, also when you only play a Holy Wrath, you have like this aggro priest variant, what we saw before, like with the aura, and then you only need to make like 5 damage. And also, okay, when your guy is Renatal, when your opponent is Renatal, it needs to be 15, but this is a strategy that most people don't see coming. Like, should I really heal over 25 now? When you have like 25 life, you don't think that you need to heal yourself now. Yeah? And then comes bloop and you're dead. And I played this a little bit, and this is a pretty good strategy. It's really, really good. Also, you have this thing like this High Priest. He converts all your life into armor, except for 1. Which gives you like a lot of life with Reno. As okay, this is not the Reno deck as a list here right now. Also with the Reno list, what I hated is like it was like everything was Renatal and the list was very, very, very small, like blah, blah, blah. This was really shit. This is most likely why I took it like this. But it's very strong also when you have this High Priest and you play 1 or 2 Giants. This is really good. Before it was, of course, much stronger than today, but this is like a serious attempt. Yeah, and then this guy is also so good. I mean, you can hear so much, and then you have also with his lifesteal aura and so on, and then you have just so much life. It's really a pain in the ass. And don't forget this. This don't people see. Most people don't see this coming. It's really strong. Yeah, like this is really so amazing when you think, oh my god, I am in reach of lethal. Yeah, because I have only 25 life. Very strong win condition. Yeah, really strong. Also, what the Paladin has a lot of handy stuff. This Time Explorer is something that I learned to hate because I never played this guy before myself. Yeah, I have to admit this. But the locations that my opponents got were so helpful all the time. Oh my god, yeah. You have Lord Barov. Lord Barov is such a disgusting card. Also for warrior, yeah, like set the half of our minions to 1. When he does not have a buff like Ziliex or so, then this is pretty bad, yeah. I mean, Ziliex is countering this kind of, yeah, but this is really good against as a very good control card, yeah. This Anachronos is a very good control card. The Colossus is this Colossus here is really good. It draws you a card and dredges. Also his tail is drawing the card and he is dredging. It's like very good against aggro or like removal, controlling, and you draw cards and you decide what your card draw is. This is really good. The Titan is also very disgusting. That all your minions cannot take more than 2 damages at a time. It's really. Also, I mean, I play in a Fire Priest, right? And when I don't have a silence and I have a 30-30 guy, usually I only make him 30-30 when I go in for the kill. Yeah, but sometimes you are forced to do shit and so on. And when you attack with a minion like this into him, and this is pretty demotivating. Yeah, also it's really handy stuff. And this Colossus, this Leviathan here, as it's called, is a pretty important card in the Reno Paladin. That's for sure. Yeah. All in all, it's way better than I like it to be. I know people who really love this kind of deck. I have to admit I don't, but it's my personal bias. I'm more like the Priest Warlock. I'm more like the Mage class guy. Yeah. Okay, next class is the Priest. Priest is pretty strong. Priest has like every deck. The Priest has is really good in his area. Like it has an aggro Priest that is like the worst. This is like the worst aggro deck. This is like the worst fucking shit aggro deck ever. I mean, Pirate Rogue is pretty shit, but this is even more shittier. This is the shittiest. This is like maximum level of shit. Yeah, but we will come to this in a moment. Yeah, I hate this deck. This is like this is #1 hate deck. This is really the deck I hate from everything the most. It is so good. It is so insane good. Like I don't play aggro strategies, and against me with my Reno controlly also combo decks, most of the time I play combo decks, I just die so much against this. Yeah, I hate this deck. So the next thing is Combo Priest, which I like pretty much. I play this quite often. It has a fire variation that I loved since the beginning of Hearthstone, and this is why I'm particularly into this deck. Yeah, because I love this strategy, like the Quest Mage, and it's pretty good. And then you have, of course, Reno Priest, which is a bit different now. But since it emerged, it was like S tier deck and had to be nerfed, and then it was de-nerfed. Pretty strong. Yeah, okay, let's go. my number one I hate you, fuck you deck. Fuck you. I hate this deck. And the reason why I hate this deck is, also, first of all, it has a pirate combo. I hate this pirate here, by the way. Blizzard buffed it again. Before, it was only give the pirate you summon +1 attack, which was pretty good, because it is not like an effect that sticks as long as he is there, but it's like permanent. And then he buffs himself. I hate this. Oh god, really hate this. I get really bad vibes right now. Okay, also first of all, this deck has a pirate combo to flood the board. Yeah, it has here a battle cry that makes 3 damage, which is pretty strong. And then you have this Fellwing all the time in the deck. For example, when you make a little bit damage and then you play him, then you get the tempo like this. This is pretty good. Yeah, he can flood the board pretty quickly. He can be very strong at the very beginning. This guy, this ship's Shirok, is pretty strong because it prevents the opponent from things like Defile or so. Also a Warlock, for example, he would play boop, pirates away, then Yahar comes patches, and then he just plays Defile and it's over. Yeah? It's like round 1-1. Yeah? Also like he has a serious problem. And this one, he prevents this all. And this is pretty good. But, also, first of all, maybe, also it can flood the board pretty well. This guy has a job to change your hero power to a Shadow Priest, which means that you make damage instead of healing. Yeah, so the Shadow Priest can always hit your face, always. No Frost Nova also can prevent this, and then he has some pretty good spells that makes damage in your face. And this kills a minion and makes damage. This makes also damage. But the most important card here, except for the Dark Bishop Benedictus, of course. I mean, he's the most important card, okay? But the next most important card is this Void Touched Attendant. He is so insanely good. I hate this card. I hate this card so much. I hate this card so much. It's so strong. Every time you take damage, you get 1 extra damage. He makes 2, 3, 2, 4, 4. Yeah? Thing is, he buffs himself. Also, with every pirate that comes, he becomes stronger. So he makes even more damage. He's like a 5-2, and then he makes 6 damage or so. When you don't have a removal, and if you are Shadow Priest yourself, you can only kill 1 and not him. Hey, this is so insanely good. This is like the fastest decks ever. I had so many games against an aggro priest where turn 3 was my last turn. Like I did not come to turn 4. I had this pretty often, also with Quest Mage especially, yeah? I did not reach turn 4. Turn 3, my game was over. If you want to, guys, if you want to reach Legend 1 at the first day of the month, then play exactly this deck. Yeah, because all your games are 4 minutes or 6 minutes. Like, at 6 minutes, it's decided that you won or lost, and therefore, you generate more wins than your opponent. Also, when you start at Bronze 10, for example, then you are climbing the ladder much faster than the other guys are. Yeah, and then you play this. Yeah, also, or Pirate Rogue, maybe even Shaman, but I would definitely recommend this. I never play this myself. It is below my honor. I feel really like my honor would be tainted if I play this deck. I hate this deck so much. I died against this deck so much. Really, it's the worst. And very often I play decks that just counter decks like this because they run around so much. Yeah, I would really argue like more than half of your opponents are aggro decks. And if you play a good control, like a good control warrior or so, that they hit the brick wall, then you're good. Yeah? Okay, I hate this deck. So, next thing is Combo Priest. Combo Priest is something I like very much, and there are 2 variations of this. Also 2 different winnings, as a way to win. 2 different ways to win, I'm sorry. but they both have the same construct. Also, okay, the Handmaiden is not 100% there, but the rest. You have this elemental, you have creation protocol with which you want to get to radiant elementals, and then you can also this is also called Miracle Priest, yeah, because it draws a lot of cards, does a lot of shit, and then comes around with a really big whatever. Also it depends on what variation you play. Also first of all, you can draw a lot of cards with this Power Word Shield, with Shadow Vision, Thrive in the Shadow, Gift of Naru. Then you have this new Priest card where you can discover Power Word Shield. Anduin's Gift also, I think the cards are always blah blah blah's gift. Yeah, and the Priest gift card is like you can get Power Word Shield and draw also a card and so on. Also, so card draw is pretty hard. And then Funnel Cake gives you Mana Cheat. And Mana Cheat is king, I said it before. It's here no different. It's really, really strong. And then you draw more, and whatever you do, or you are already ready. So, number one is the Inner Fire Blessing variation. This is the one I like, for example, very much. It's really, really cool, especially against aggro decks, because aggro decks have to kill you with their minions. Yeah, so they don't have different, they don't have good removals of big towns, for example. They don't have ways to clear your board. They can only clear the board with their minions. And when you have a town with 40 health or so, they just lost. And this is what I love about this deck. This is like one of the decks I use very often against when I want to counter aggro, which is also sometimes too late here. Anduin's Gift is really the name. But also you do this combo, you draw a lot of cards like this, yeah, and Funnel Cake and draw more and blah blah blah. And this one costs less for each spell you've cast this game. So it's pretty easy that he costs 0. Then you can, with the card I don't see, okay, it's a different list. Then you have a card that you can copy this. And if it's Finale, then they are both buffed. And with this you can really do a lot of shit with this. Then you have a lot of them. What I really like about this combo is that you have this elemental stuff, and then with Creation Protocol, you can also, with the second one, get more of these giants. Yeah, so I call them giant. Yeah, and then you have like 3 or 4 of these giants, and your opponent has to deal with the giants, and then most of the time your elementals still stick on the board. And this is the moment when you go in for the kill. The weakness of these Inner Fire Priests is that you have to have something on the board that you can buff that kills the opponent. Also, yeah, so when your board is cleared all the time, it's shit. When your opponent has ice block, it's shit. Yeah, if you, also this is things. Or if he gets too much health, then you need to copy Divine Spirit with Shadow Visions. And this list, for example, is only one time. I don't like it. To prevent this weakness, a lot of players have a charge component in their deck, or stealing with Shadow World Madness, for example. Potion of Madness, sorry. So they can steal your opponent and then your minion and buff it and then kill you. This is very, very important, because that you have to have something sticked is pretty difficult. Yeah, for example, if you have Shudder Walker, so any Reno deck he plays Reno, you cannot kill the guy. Yeah, so then your board is empty and you have to refill it, and it's pretty hard. Devolve shit like this. Against Shaman, you had this combo with the 2 Murlocs, the one that makes 1 damage and the other one that is poisoning him. So he clears the entire board and stuff like this. This is a weakness against not aggro decks. Yeah, but I like the strategy pretty much. Very important is here to keep the Divine Spirit combo as long as you're not going in for the kill, because when you can easily remove it, you are just fucked. Yeah. The second version is pretty interesting. I was not able to make it work very well. I saw it. The opponents I had were able to execute the combo pretty well. I was not. It's instead of playing the giants here, you play this Heartbreaker Edanis. He has the ability whenever he is overhealed, he makes 5 damage to a random enemy. And you want to copy this guy here with Gift of Luminescence, for example, or this here. Oh no, this was the card with the Divine Spirit. Then it's a 1/1. Also the guy is a 1/1, and then you can overheal him pretty easily. You have then Norsha, a cleric, to damage everything and then heal everything to draw a lot of cards. But it's not so easy to pull because you need good funnel cakes in this combo. But when you have two elementals, then every spell you play except for palm reading is free. So you can Spirit Lash, Gift of Naru, Spirit Lash, Circle of Healing. Then you have this other card here. What is it called? Holy Ripple. Also heals everything of your of your minions by 1 and stuff like this. Yeah, it's pretty interesting combo. Also basically, this guy kills the board and then kills the enemy hero. Yeah, pretty interesting, but way more difficult to pull off than this Inner Fire combo. Okay, next we have the last deck of the Priest. It's a Reno Priest. Reno Priest is very old, since the Death Knight, also since the Lich King. Yeah, it's very good. It is like the top tier Reno decks. It's like the strongest Reno deck, I believe. I mean, you could argue that Druid can be stronger, but I'm not sure. I mean, Priest is really a force to pay attention to. Yeah. Also basically, you had Raza. When your deck has no duplicates, your hero power costs 0 for the rest of your game. Also this hero power costs 0. Yeah. Before then you played your Death Knight and then you pulled off a combo, and you played small shit cards and then it was like a meme too. It's very strong. Now it has been replaced a little bit by this Raza that you, before, like the Arrow deck, you play this Benedictus that you don't heal, but you immediately have the shadow form, and then you play both Razas. Yeah. For the rest of the game, your hero power you refreshes whenever you play a card. This is like the same. Yeah. Also it became an upgrade with the Raza because you can easier draw the minions than you can draw the Death Knights. Although, okay, you could argue that you that with Polkelt or so you can order your deck and so you can force the Death Knight to come, but you still have the Reno here, which is a thing. Also, I mean, with the Mana Crystal ability, but when you draw cards, it can be too much. Also, it can be possible that you overflow with the Reno, but anyway, it's not. Don't matter. So what you did then, when you had this prepared, before you used the Spawn of Shadows, which was a 4 mana card before, that had Inspire. I mean, Inspire is the keyword that every time you use your hero power, whatever happens, you heal yourself, or you generate a spell, or whatever. Here in this case, it's like damage both heroes with 4 damage. Yeah? So you give him 6 and you take 4 yourself. Yeah, and this is how you kill your opponent. This was like this. Really, it's as old as time itself. It's as old as the Void. It's a very strong combo that is played to today. And then, also when you have this, then you need a lot of small cards that you can play. Yeah, so you can trash the opponent. It's super strong. It's super hardcore late game. The Priest has, also what makes the Priest also so good is he has really nice tools. Like he has Hysteria, Mass Hysteria, is very good against aggro. You have this Harpy lady here, which helps you so much to kill big minions of the opponent. You have this Naryak Hexen. You take control of an enemy minion. When you have a Taunt or a Rush minion, then you can just trade it right away into the opponent. Also, he loses 2 cards, and with the Taunt, he has to kill the Taunt first before he kills him. Or you have a removal to kill him or silence. Then you have Raise Dead. You can bring back things you used already. I mean, you get 3 damage, but that you can get, for example, one significant minion back is super good. It's just super strong. Yeah, so I mean, what you don't want is Raza jetzt here. Now, you don't want Raza in this particular instant, but yeah. It has a very good colors, yeah? Lifesteal 8, it kills a minion. This is a very good colors that saved my ass so many times already. I really like this color. This is actually like my favorite one, because I really gotten to like it. He really saved me. But unfortunately, it like never sticks around for more than 1 turn. But against aggro, it's like the game changer, yeah? Armature, it has a very good Titan. These remove 2 minions is so good, yeah? Very strong colors, very strong Titan. Has really nice stuff here, yeah? Also, it has a very disgusting copy mechanic. Also, you only see this in the Shadow Priest when you meet a Reno Priest that is not Shadow. Also, that depends on playing the Death Knight, which is way too late, I believe, today. But anyway, you can copy a lot of cards from your opponent, which can generate a lot of value. But what's even worse, now with this Harvester of Envy, you can even steal the original of your opponent. And this can be so disgusting, especially against a Druid with Innervate, when you have small cards. Like Innervate is a really good example. This is like really ugly to steal, because it enables the opponent to play, also you to play even more and so on. Or here this Convert, yeah? I mean, this is like a 7 mana combo to steal a Titan, for example. Yeah, and this is just, yeah, I mean, yeah. When I play this mechanic, I think this guy is actually pretty expensive to pull off here. But when you already have everything, it's, yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. Also, this card here, what's it called? Identity Theft, exactly. This is also such a good card, man. This is so good. You so often get so good cards with it, like Reno from your opponent or so. And then you have 2 Renos. It's just insanely good. Identity Theft is like one of the best cards ever. Yeah, it was a 4 priest. Before, Ilusha was also pretty nice. I mean, it's not so strong anymore. Madame Lazul is very good. Like these 5 cards are pretty good. And Seance Convert, and when you can on top use the Harvester of Envy, it's just disgustingly good. I mean, it's like, fuck you, I kill you, then fuck you, I steal shit, I revalue stuff, and then I steal shit. This Reno Priest is really good. I think very often, also there was a lot of times in my Hearthstone life where I thought that Reno Priest is the best deck that overall exists. I don't know if it's true. Maybe you agree, maybe you disagree. I mean, I would love if you comment on this, like, yeah, I agree, or no, fuck, man, yeah, Aggro Shadow Priest is the best deck or so. I mean, opinions are not the same with every people, which is the beauty of this world. So we don't find all the, we don't all like the same food, the same woman, the same man, the same whatever, yeah. Yeah, so Priest should be done here with this. Lol, I copied I made it for May, as you see here. But it was like end of May, and now it's beginning of June, yeah. Okay, Rogue. Next class is a Rogue. Rogue is like the most versatile class there is. Rogue is most likely the strongest and best class there is. The simple reason is it is very versatile. You have a lot of different kinds of decks. I mean, one deck is missing here. I mean, I have it late, so you will see it in a moment, but I don't have a card here. You have this one-turn kill. What is missing? You have a one-turn kill Navelmine, you have a one-turn kill with Alistraza. You have a Kingsbane Rogue, super strong. You have Miracle Rogue, super strong. You have Quest Rogue, which is not so super strong anymore. And then you have Pirate Rogue, which is like the second best aggro deck there is, or maybe it's even better than Priest, I don't know. I'm not sure. But it's very strong. It's super strong. It's disgustingly strong. And the problem you have against Rogue is, also again, you can be one turn kill, you can be Miracle, you can be Kingsbane, and you can be hyper aggressive. And the Pirate Rogues also have different variations, yeah? Also different underclasses, so. And you don't, also basically when you face a rogue, you don't know what he's playing. You will see like in turn 2 or so, yeah, but it's very hard to mulligan well against a rogue. Because when you against an aggro deck, when you mulligan against aggro, for example, with Holy Nova and Defile and stuff like this, also so things that clear small minions, and then he has a Miracle Rogue, then you just made the wrong, mulligan. Yeah, it doesn't help you. Or against this one-turn kill. What do you want with a board removal when you have when a one-turn kill is knocking at your door? Yeah, then you need Dirty Red and stuff like this. Yeah, also then you need different tools to handle the opponent. And this is like the biggest strength of a rogue, that you really have no idea what it is, because like every deck is played. I mean, this Naval Mine and this Quest is not really played, but Kingsbane, Miracle, and Pirate are like completely different decks where you need a different mulligan that are really hardcore fuck shit against you. The only thing that you could say is that this dragon, the 3-mana dragon that makes cost, that every card costs 2 at least. This is like good against every rogue. But yeah, okay. We start with Alestraza, if I am right. Yeah. This deck is what was a Pillager Rogue before. Before you had a 1-turn kill combo with a 6-mana minion that made so much damage as cards were played before it. So you had the Spirit of the Shark, and then you copy, also then this effect was triggered twice. And then you shot like 7/7, 8/8 damage, or 8/8, 9/9, 9/9, 10/10. Also you played 2 Pillagers with the Scabs. Also basically the combo was Spirit, Fox Fraud, then Scabs, and then also you need, this costs 2, then he costs 0, and then the 2 Pillagers cost also 0. And this is like this, but way longer. Also what you do is you make a long combo where you hit with Alestraza in your face multiple times. And also usually only 2 times, but then you have 32 damage, and it's pretty good. For me, it's hard to pull off because I did not really understand how you really pull it off. Also, no, I did not really understand how much mana do I really need now to execute this combo perfectly. Yeah, because with Shadow Step, you can have at turn 4, you can make also this guy, and then this guy. This is like turn 4. Then you could play, also then they have Alestraza into the ETC. So this is pretty easy. Yeah, bam, 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 bam. And then you play this here most likely. Yeah, bounce around and get everything back on your hand, and it costs 1 this turn. But then you need 2 mana again. 1, 2, and then you start again. Yeah, then you play this on him, then him himself. Again, I believe? No. You need to play him 2 times in a row, so Alestraza costs 0. Or before you play bam, 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 then this on him, maybe him again, then him, then this. Also you need him 2 times. Yeah? And then you start the combo over again with just 2 time skips, also bam, 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 then him again, and then Alestraza, and then this guy Alestraza. This is a combo that I have not, to be honest, have not really played, so I'm not perfect with this, but it was pretty interesting, but it's a bit complicated. So if you are a beginner, I would not recommend it. If you are like advanced or expert, then this should be no problem. But I have not looked so much into it, to be honest, that I can easily explain it. Yeah. Next rogue is so this was a 1-turn kill. So next rogue is Kingsbane Rogue. It's very strong. It's very strong against not aggro decks. Also aggro is a thing because then you need lifesteal. Yeah. but against, like, for example, Reno Decks or so, it's very, very strong because Kingsbane is a weapon that keeps its enchantments and is put back into the deck when you destroyed it, when it's used up. And then you have like 4 minions that draw a weapon. So then it easily gets 12, 14, 16 damage. And when you get every turn 16 damage, is pretty hard to survive. Yeah. It's pretty quick. It can kill you pretty soon. Yeah, it's very, very strong. Then you have this Blade Flurry with which destroys like an entire board. This is very, very strong. Before it also damaged the face, but it was just too strong with the Kingsbane, so they changed it. With the Doomerang, you can throw it and get it back. Also, with this, you basically attack an opponent without taking damage, and then you can re-equip it. This deck has a lot. Also, whoa, wait, what I forgot about. What I forgot. Rogue has a lot of really good card draw. Yeah, and this deck can draw pretty quickly and scale up this Kingsbane very quickly. And then you have stuff like it's immune while you're attacking. When you attack, draw a card. Yeah. Then you have things that scale the weapon, like this Deadly Poison, this Mic Drop. Then you have this Harmonic Hip Hop. This is also a disgusting card that I hate very much. Then you have at the end, since you draw out your deck pretty quickly, it was also in the quest Demon Hunter before. I forgot it to mention there. You have Zephyrus the Great in the deck because his condition is that you have no duplicates in your deck. When your deck is almost drawn out, then the condition of Zephyrus is done. Then he is enabled. Yeah, and so then you can kill ice blocks, also destroy ice blocks, make more damage, clear boards or what. Also I don't know. Also basically Zephyrus most of the time to clear secret. I think an ice block because you cannot give a hero Wind Fury, but I don't know. This is a pretty good deck, very strong. It's not the strongest one, but it's like in the second row or the third row. Also it's like second to third line, but it's really next to best decks. Yeah. Okay, next deck is the Quest Rogue. It's not particularly seen often. The quest is play 4 minions with the same name, and then you play the core that for the rest of the game your minions are 5/5. You play one once. You have, for example, 2 ways of fulfilling this quest, either with this pirate or with these bots. These spark bots all have the same name, even though they have different effects or are different minions. Yeah. So you need to play 4 of those guys, or no, you need to play one guy 4 times or 4 guys to do this. For example, with this pirate it's particularly easy because you get 2, then you shadow step the pirate to get the other 2, you have your condition fulfilled. Yeah, so then you have in one, one thing is, these are like 2 variations, yeah? Either you have a lot of charge things like South Sea Deckband, the Stone Tusk Boar, yeah, with what you go directly into the face, or you have this magnetic spark bots that can get Wind Fury and scale up pretty hard. They are magnetic, and then you have 5/5, 10/10, and 15/15. This is pretty hard. Then you have this target dummy and shit like this. It costs even 0. Also this is a thing that can be very valuable. It was like, not so long ago, it was like a tier 1 deck, I think, at least, it was like best, among the best decks, or like second line, yeah, but very, very strong. You don't see it very often, but the quest is very easily fulfilled, so, yeah. Also, it's something that can beat you pretty quickly, if you cannot counter it with what you cannot do very often. Okay, next one is the next one-turn kill of Rogue. And this is a Mine Rogue. The first one, Alestraza, was by Battle Cries. This one is with Death Rattles. And the Snowfall Graveyard is the card that enables this combo. Your Death Rattles trigger twice. It was before 3, now it's nerfed to 5 because the one-turn kill was possible too early. The easy version, also you have a longer version with this where you have a guy that destroys all your minions and then you destroy him again. But he destroys all minions. Then his death rattle is that he resummons them, and then you can make this list longer. Yeah, but the basic way is that you have this Naval Mine on the board. You have this weapon. You play this Shadestone Scholar, which takes the weapon away when he dies. His death rattle is that he gives you the weapon back 2 times, which means that the weapon is destroyed 1 time. Which means that this trigger as death rattle of a minion is triggered 2 times. This is triggered 2 times, and this is the death rattle that is triggered finally, that is triggered 4 times. It is triggered 2 times, and since the 2 times is triggered 2 times, it's triggered 4 times. So it's like 16 damage already, yeah? Then you can attack with your weapon or destroy it yourself. Then it's the other 16 damage. And then if you destroy with backstab or so the Naval Mine, then you come up to 40 damage. This is the easy way, yeah? This is a pretty strong combo because most of the classes don't have armor or more than 40 life. If you have a warrior or so, then it's a bit different. What has to be said first is this combo can be done twice. Yeah, because everything you have twice in your deck, you have a lot of card draw. The problem is really most of the time the spell, because you cannot force the spell to be drawn. You can force minions to be drawn with Swindle, for example, or a spell that is not here that says draw 2 minions, and then if you play one, it has stealth. Then you can specifically draw for minions, but you cannot specifically draw for a spell. And this is this card is like most of the time the problem, in my opinion. It's a pretty strong deck and it can be upgraded. There is the minion that draws you a card, a death rattle card, and reduces the costs or so. I'm not sure anymore because I have not seen it for a while. But you can build it in, and then you make this a longer chain, and this chain makes much more damage then. And yeah, but this is the basic way. Pretty strong. Second one-turn kill of Rogue, one of the last remaining OTKs, by the way. So next deck of the Rogue is the Miracle Rogue. It is very strong. It is very good. I like it very much. It's fun to play because you play a lot of cards. It has a lot of tempo. It's really nice. I could recommend it. I put the micro a bit louder. I hope it was not too... I will see if it was not loud enough before. You play a lot of cards. You have a lot of draw. You have things, synergies that the more spells you cast, the cheaper is this one. The more cards you play, the cheaper is this one. Basically, what you want to do is you play a lot of giants, you play breakdance, you have like 4 8/8s on the board and you kill the opponent. And basically you want to lower tap the board too, so your opponent cannot kill the 4 giants, for example with the Zephrys or so. This deck has changed now a little bit. Before, it was like with this on top here with the scribbling, stenograph and lower tap. Now they put the Wild Pork Gnoll and Obsidian Shard in, because with this Twisted Pack you have you fulfill. This deck is also a lot about mana cheat. With the giant, with this one, and with this here. Now with the new one, with the Gnoll. I did not say that they can be mana cheated too. This is where we come to now. This Twisted Pack adds 5 random cards from other classes to your hand. These 2 cost less permanently for each non-rogue class card added to your hand this game. So, if you have turn 1, for example, you have Gnoll, Obsidian Shard and Twisted Pack. You play Twisted Pack and the Gnoll and the Shard are immediately 0 mana. Yeah, it's a lot about mana cheat. This is why this Razor Drake is so good. This dragon that that has the effect that everything costs at least 2. Yeah. Then this is like very quick. This is very fast. This is way easier to achieve than playing 6 cards, which can be achieved also pretty easy as a rogue. But this is just easier. For example, what's also really funny when you play this thing and then Sir Finlay, then this is also with the Mage thing, evocation and Sir Finlay, you put a whole hand on the bottom of your deck and you have like a full new hand. This is very good, especially as a Miracle Rogue that wants to play a lot of cards with coins and stuff like this, preparation, blah blah, and then your giant is very easy. And before it has York inside, but York was changed. York had the same effect. The more spells you cast, the less expensive was York. The Miracle Rogue was York Rogue. This really resurrected Miracle Rogue. And since then, also it was a thing for the dawn of time. Miracle Rogue is like one of the oldest decks there is. Yeah, also it's like, it was the first rogue basically. Yeah, and also from classic, and yeah, it prevailed to this time like in a Fire Priest and others. Very strong deck, super strong. I really dislike that people changed this Twisted Pack stuff against lower tap, because I think lower tap is super valuable. In my deck, I have also Edwin, also the Edwin that gets stronger with every card you play. Of course, it can be silenced and so on, which is pretty disgusting when it happens. But I like this, and I like this Photograph guy. They are 2 cards that I like so much that I would not do this, but I understand that this is just more value in the long run and more consistent and wins more games in the long run, therefore. So, yeah. Difference in playstyle, but I just love it more. Yeah. So last deck of the rogue is the Pirate Rogue. Also it has now different variations. It's like top tier, S tier, super tier aggro deck. It is basically like the Shadow Priest. You have your first turn is like one of those pirates and patches, and maybe you get lucky with this Parachute Brigade, and then you have an insane start, yeah, especially with the treasure distributor when you play him, and then you have, for example, 2 parachutes like Pirates Array, and then camp patches. Then this guy is a 4/2, 3/2, 3/2, 2/1. This is like a lot of damage on the board immediately, round 1. This is super good. This cannon is really good. The new cannon is really good, because the main problem aggro decks have is card draw, but not this aggro deck, because you have this Gear Shift, Secret Passage, you have this Toy Boat, and you have the Swordfish that also this is not specifically a draw, but it decides your next draw, right? And if you have an empty board, then you can just decide. Also, if you have it on the top of your deck, on the bottom of your deck, then you can just refill your hand pretty quickly, and this makes this deck so dangerous. I had so many games against this deck where he had 0 hands. He had 0 cards on his hand, and he top decked like Secret Passage. This is like insanely disgusting. This is disgusting. I hate this. I mean, I'm not an aggro player, but it is just too good. It is really strong, and this is like the easiest deck you can play, in my opinion. When you are a beginner of white, play Pirate Rogue first. Play, I don't know, 100 games, and then you know what's happening, and it's very straightforward. It's not there. Also, I mean, maybe I'm wrong that I say, oh, you don't have to think much with this deck. Maybe you have, but But you have a lot of easy decisions. Let me say it like this. With this deck, you have a lot of easy decisions, and this is easy to, also it's good for learning. It does not cost a lot of dust. I mean, okay, now you have Felag Windblade. Which one is this? Shoplifter Goldbeard. Okay, this is a deck that is a bit strange to me. I don't know what this card is right now. And this is, I believe... Okay, I'm not pretty sure about this here. Also usually it's a pretty cheap deck. Also, what is really nice here, also when I play the Pirate Rogue, also I almost never did it. But when I did, I took this Maestra of the Masquerade in. Because it is really funny when you, you look like a Druid. Also you are a Druid. Also this is a card that disguises your class. That your opponent think that you are a different class than you are. And when you are, for example, a Druid and then your guy mulligans against a Druid, like, oh, I have a late game, and then you are a Pirate, this is pretty strong. Yeah, this is really a really nice advantage. I mean, it was not as good as I thought it is, but from the mind games point of view, I really liked it. So this is a strange list to me, but it's a very cheap deck usually. That has only patches as a legendary, so I was wondering that these are legendaries and TOK, but patches usually is the only one. It's a very low budget deck, very strong. And there was a guy, Milo was his name, or is his name, he is still alive. He started white, I taught him play this deck, and then he played it a lot, and then at 0 o'clock at the first of the month, he became the first legend because he played this deck, because it is so quickly. It's like what I said with the aggro priest. When you want to become the first, then you play an aggro deck like this, because you generate wins very quickly and you generate losses very quickly. For example, when you have Reno priest against Reno Paladin, it's very possible that the game takes 15 minutes. And in this time, you already made 3 games. Yeah. For example, you won 2 and lost 1, so you ranked up much more quickly than your opponent did. Yeah. So, very strong deck. First variation you have with this rogue is this Garrett variation. Garrett is a spell that you shuffle these cards, bleeds in your deck, and when you draw them, your opponent gets 2 damage. You combine this with the Street Trickster, who makes spell damage +1, and you need some kind of card draw. Basically, you are a Pirate Rogue with an end game possibility. If you failed, you still can use this. This is also very strong. Also, it's a bit weaker than the Pirate Rogue. Yeah, it has. It's a bit weaker because it does not have all the early game stuff. Yes, for example, you have Shadow Step and Preparation and so on. This is something that you don't put in a Pirate Rogue usually. Yeah, but you need Shadow Step to get your toy board on your hand again, for example. That you can really secure it, that you can draw cards. Because you want to draw out your deck pretty quickly to be able to execute this combo. And it is very good. I mean, when you can, with the spell damage, you make 4 damage. And then you shuffle 3 more in, which is 16. And then you do it 2 times, it's 32 damage. Yeah. With the Shadow of the Mines, it's 48 damage. And this is like after you made your aggressive attempt. And it failed. Yeah. Then you still have 48 damage left. And this is a pretty disgusting strategy. This is like what they did with the Shadow Priest, that they had a time walk. Yeah, with this dragon that I forgot the name, unfortunately, I'm sorry. But this was also insanely good. Yeah, then you had Shadow Priest aggro hyper decks that were able to execute a time walk at turn 5. Like fuck you, Blizzard, what's this? Yeah, do you want to destroy the game or what? So this is one variation with the late game, end game escape hatch, which is very good. Then you have a hook variation that is way weaker than the Garrett variation. Here you can fuck your opponent up since you steal his hand or steal cards from his deck or so. This is very ha hee hee, but this is a straightforward way, and this is going around. Yeah. So next we have Shaman also, I believe. Okay. So we have Shaman left, we have Warlock left, and we have Warrior left. So it's not so long anymore. Oh god, it's already 2 hours. So Shaman overview, you have Big Shaman, you have Even Shaman, Aggro Deck, and you have Shudderwock Shaman, which is like an end, also it's a long-term play. Big Shaman is a deck that I like pretty much. Also I mean, I don't like to play against, but I like to play it because it is not too bad against aggro. Also I like that it beats aggro. What it does, also how you win is you play big dudes and your opponent cannot clear them and you kill him with this. Yeah, and you have this location which is insanely good in this deck because it forces you to draw this Mug Morpher who transforms into a very big minion in your deck. Of course, what is very important with the Mug Morpher is that you have a reincarnate that you can really use this guy to the fullest. Because against aggro, for example, it's pretty bad when he transforms himself into... Also, okay, wait. You have 5 minions in this deck. You have this guy who transforms himself into the others. Then you have this horse who has a death trap that he summons a beast and an elemental can be itself. You have beast this and this, or you have elementals here like this lifesteal mega wind fury rush guy who's pretty strong, or you have Neptulon. But this mega wind fury guy is the most important one in this deck, especially because we are facing a lot of aggro guys. He transforms into one of them. With reincarnate, you summon big dudes, you summon 3 more towns, you summon 3 more arms, yeah, 2 more arms. Also you can attack 2 times, then you can attack another 2 times, or you completely heal yourself basically against an aggro deck when you can play this and get him and you can reincarnate, you won the game. It's just game over immediately because he heals you 16 life. And at this point, this is most likely like what your opponent made damage, or maybe a little bit more. But you heal so much and clear the board. This is really, really, really good. This is so good. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Because it really cripples what I hate. And these aggro decks really get really a punch in the face with moves like this. And this is what I love about this. Then you have different, you have different means to summon big dudes like this. This is one way. Then you have Ancestor's Call and Eureka. Ancestor's Call is pretty interesting because it also forces the opponent to summon something. When you play against a Reno deck, it's like a Dirty Rat, and Dirty Rat is pretty strong because it can kill a win condition of your opponent. And if he summons, for example, in Aviana, while you summon a rush minion that kills Aviana, is pretty significant for how the game is going to develop itself. Yeah, pretty nice deck. I would recommend it. It's hard to play against. For example, when you are a druid, it's hard to clear this board. Yeah, unless you are Reno, of course. Reno is very easy then again. But you have to come to turn 9 anyway. Yeah. And with the Neptulon on the board, it's not that likely. Then you have stuff to buff your Thrall's Gift gives you, for example, Bloodlust or so, which is very pretty bad for this. Then you have a spell usually that is not in this deck, I believe, where you get +3 attack on on a friendly character, and on this here is pretty devastating. Then he can make 28 damage in the face. Very strong, very good. I could recommend it. Yes, nice. Even Shaman is like the 3rd aggro deck in the line. You have Aggro Priest, you have Pirate Rogue, and this is number 3. Even Shaman can scale up pretty quickly, pretty drastically. A very strong deck. It's also around since a very long time, since this Greymane is there. You only have even cards. This is the wrong list, lol. This is a big Shaman list. I'm sorry, I made a mistake here. The deck list I have in the text file is right, but I copied the wrong the wrong picture. Fuck. Okay, I did not see it. So what you basically do, Your hero power costs 1. You spam these totems. You can buff them by spell. You can buff them by different totems. You can buff them before you play, also while you play them. This anchor totem is pretty important and very strong. When you play this and this weapon, then you can summon more than 1 totem per turn. And it gives every totem +1, +2, +1, which is pretty good. Also every small totem you summon. Also every 1 cost minion. This can cost 1, this can cost 1, but this is 2 cost, of course. Very important is the stone right. For the rest of the game, your totems have +2 attack. This is a pretty disgusting effect. Very strong, and this is like one of the most important cards in this deck. Also you try to spam totems, then you buff them, then you win. Yeah. Then with every totem you summon, this giant costs less, this costs less. It's pretty tempo-y, quickly, it's very strong. Yeah, I don't have to say much more about this. Okay. What is very important in this deck is that Shaman is a class that has access to Devolve. And Devolve is a very good card to remove towns. Also, since you devolve a taunt into a not taunt, or also deal anyway with aggro decks. Devolve is very good. Then it has totem buffs that are very strong, plus also like damage everything with 1, and then gets +3/+3, I believe, and so on. These are pretty serious buffs that this deck has. Then you can copy all the totems. This giant is a totem too, so you can copy this before when all the totems fail. This can kill you pretty quickly. Then usually the way is to copy the giants or Wind Fury the giants with the spell. It's very strong and like one of my arch enemies since the dawn of time. The last deck is of the Shaman is the Shadowwalk Shaman. It's like most likely the best endgame deck there is, because it can repeat itself, unlike the Quest Mage. Also the Quest Mage was able to repeat itself all the time, but now anymore, and the Shadowwalk still can this. Basically, also repeat all other battle cries from cards you played this game. So targets randomly. So here you have these are battle cries that are not with random targets. Next battle cry card costs 5. Spells cost 5 more, also more. Then counter shit, yeah. Next minion or spell. Clear the board. Then you have the Reno, heal yourself. Astalor, make damage. Yeah. What you want to do with the Shadowwalk is, first of all, you want to copy itself, and then you want to give a copy on your hand that costs 1. Also you need to play Twin Fin or other cards. Also there are multiple cards that have the name that summon a copy of itself. Then Shadowwalk summons a copy of itself, and when you have Battlecry, return your other minions, in this case the copy, to your hand deck has 1. Then next turn you can spam Shadowwalk. Yeah. When you get him on your hand. But what is Reihenfolge in English? I'm sorry. Usually I know this, but sequence, okay. The order, okay. The order of the battle cries is not the same. Yeah. So it can happen that first of all, you play the Scrumble and then you copy it, then you have fucked up. But with this, you have here the cold storage, what you can cast on your Shadowwalk to get another Shadowwalk. So if you fail, you have a fail safe here in this thing. And then you just, you want to copy it, you want to give it on your hand again, and then you want to spam shit. What I like to spam is then that everything costs more, that you counter spells and minions, and Astalor, of course, to kill the opponent. You can also do it with card draw, but then you would draw cards yourself. This is actually not so good. I mean, I think this is what you really want to do. It's pretty hard to play Mutanos here. You have also stuff like Dirty Red. Mutanos is very important in this deck, yeah? I mean, this is like extra shit. This is like the core, what you need, and then you can make pretty bad stuff too. Yeah, also like Reno, heal yourself. Yeah, the Snowfall Guardian like freezes everything else. Yeah, this is also stuff. Then you can play the other Shadow Walk, the small one, to eat 3 minions from the hand of your opponent also. This is also, these are motives that are pretty bad. Yeah, very strong deck, but not good against aggro. But late game, when you have a Reno opponent or so, he really needs to fuck up your hand with Dirty Red and Mutanos, or he has a serious problem. Yeah, okay. Only 2 more classes to go. Warlock. You have Quest Warlock, you have Even Warlock, and you have Reno Warlock. Reno Warlock is something that you see very seldomly. I did not... Maybe I should not taken it in because you really don't see it often, but I think it's such a good deck that it deserves to be here. It's such a strong archetype. If I had not done this, then... Also, I mean, there's also discard Warlock, but it has become so weak. It is like an aggro deck. It has become so weak that aggro Priest is just way better. Okay, I start alphabetically with Even Warlock. Even Warlock is with Greymane, and it has the ability like your hero power costs 1. This means you draw cards with 1 mana instead of 2. And what you want to do is you want to play these giants turn 3, turn 4. Like when you have the coin, your hero power, also turn 1, turn 2, then you have at turn 3 a completely full hand, and this mountain giant costs 3, so you can drop it immediately. You could turn 3 play this guy and this guy, for example. Yeah, also. He costs 1 and he would cost 2 then. He costs 1 when you have a full hand, and if you have played him, then it's 2. You can play like the Manipulator, or so was his name, that exchanges this guy with another 10 mana minion and so on. This is also very hard. What you basically want to do is you fill your board with big giant shit, and turn 5, 6, depending if you have the coin or not, where you want to play this Battleground Battlemaster, give your giants Wind Fury and make 32 damage. Yeah. When you cannot play a giant like this, you can play Dark Alley Pact. This summons a fiend with taunt and stats equally to your hand size, which means this is like a 9/9 guy with taunt. You can use this endgame, reselect your last demon that died, and when this died, you have 2 mana to get another 9/9 guy back. It's quite okay against aggro because of Defile and Dray Soul and stuff like this, yeah. Dark Bomb, I mean, Defile is like a super good card against aggro, except for aggro Priest because of this Shirok that increases the health of the other guys you summon. But other than this is pretty nice. Yeah, it's a pretty good deck. I mean, I played it very often. I did not play it recently today. It's not so strong anymore, I think, but yeah. You have also stuff like the Sea Devil Stinger. This is like a Murloc. That the next Murloc you play costs life, and then you play your Gigafin. In Reno, you do this with Mutanos, for example, but we come to this in a moment. Yeah, very good, strong, can hit pretty hard. Next deck is Quest Warlock, and this is most likely the deck that is played the most from all the Warlock classes. While you, with Rogue, you don't know what you are getting. With Warlock, the chance that your opponent is a Quest Warlock is like 90% or so. It's unbelievably high. It's super high. And it has a lot to do with the new card that came, mass production. It also brought back Darkleer. Quest Warlock is a deck, to say, to open it up simply. You damage yourself, also the quest is you damage yourself, and the reward is every time you damage yourself in your turn, you damage your opponent. Yeah, which is very strong with, for example, the Crystallizer, where you damage your opponent 5, also give him 5 damage and you gain 5 armor. This is very strong. And then all this card draw you have with Raise Dead, you can generate damage pretty quickly. Then you have these giants, which who are very good. Before I had a giant with a Paladin, Here was it right. That was unnerfed in the Paladin. It was still 20 cost. Of course, it was nerfed to 22 because of standard. You have this Dark Lair, and the Dark Lair has the effect. Also, you have this giant. These giants are pretty easily accessible, especially the Flesh Giant, because it costs 1 less each time your hero's health change. When you have the quest, you play this, it's 1 less, 1 less, 1 less. When you fulfill a level of the quest, then you make 3 damage lifesteal, yeah, to the hero, and so you heal 3. So this one, every step you do decreases the cost of this giant too, yeah. So this giant is very, very quickly accessible, different, also other than this one. This is different. So what's super, super good here is Dark Lair again. Dark Lair refreshes your mana crystals whenever you get damage, which means Raise that he is paying for himself. Also when you play him and him, then you again have 1 mana. Yeah, and this is very, very good with this mass production too. Raise that you can have seriously bad motives and really big turns. Dark Lair was of course a card that was much stronger before. It was at one time it was 2 mana, then it was refreshing 2 mana crystals, and it was nerfed a few times, but it's, sorry, I have in German what we call Schluck auf. But anyway, very, very strong. This Warlock has changed before. This mass production, the card draw was pretty quick too, but you killed your opponent with fatigue. You went really quickly, really deep in your fatigue, and this is how you killed your opponent. Now you kill your opponent with less damage with this mass production. So I believe that against big armor classes, this is like weaker. For example, later we will see a Mechatoon or as a Mechatoon warrior who can generate a lot of armor, and you could beat him while you scale up your fatigue damage, what you cannot really do with mass production. Then you can make like 30 damage, also like 10 times playing this card, yeah, but with the deck before, the damage per turn could easily exceed 30, but anyway, very strong deck, and the most deck you see as a Warlock. So one deck that means quite a bit to me is the Reno Warlock. So Reno Warlock, this is a deck that was like among the first Reno decks. What is very special about the Warlock compared to other classes, you can mess with the hand and deck of your opponent. I mean, the Renos usually mess with the hand with Mutanos and Dirty Red, but that you discard cards, yeah, or remove cards from the deck of your opponent. This Gnumferatu also can do this, destroy the top deck of your opponent. It's also very strong, yeah, super strong. When you have Polkit or Order in the court from a Paladin where he reorders his deck and you have a Gnome Ferrato on your hand, you just destroy his Reno or his something. You destroy something very important. This was also like a win condition also before, yeah. Also with Death Knights, like he wanted to draw his Death Knight, you just killed it. This was very, very interesting. As you can mess with the deck of your opponent, yeah, and it has, Reno Warlock is really good against aggro because it has like I don't know 10 cards that are AOEs, yeah, that have area damage. I believe it's like 10 cards. You have Dark Skies, you have Hellfire, you have Defile, then you have another card that makes 5 damage to everything, and you discard a card for everyone you kill. Also this is like, you have this entitled customer that is not a spell. You have a lot of shit that can clear the board, yeah? So it's pretty good against aggro. Also it's it has very good control tools. Then you have this Sea Devil combo that I told you in the even Warlock, yeah? You can eat the board, you can play Mutanos pretty early with it, yeah? You have a really good Titan, you have this, okay, this is not very important, this Feldris, that you increase your maximum hand size to 12 and draw 4 cards. This is, before it was more a thing than now, but yeah, you have Deckcodes, you have the Symphony, you have Rin, you had the old Rin. The old Rin is not good enough, but it has also, also the first Rin had, also Rin, the first principle was the name, had the effect when it died, you get a seal, and when you played all 5 seals, you got a 10 mana minion that destroyed the deck of your opponent, yeah? This was very, very good. Then you have Deckcodes, also you have like basically the same. You have Raise Dead. Raise Dead is not here, right? Raise Dead, you can get Deckcodes back and shit like this. When you have corrupted Deckcodes, you played it, he is killed, you play Raise Dead, you get it back, he is already corrupted. So you killed, you removed then 10 cards from the deck of your opponent. This Symphony can do this too, but it's 6 cards, I believe. This is a game-winning motive. This can win the game right here because you killed, for example, in a Druid, the Togwagel, the Aviana, the Colossus. You can hit pretty important cards with moves like this. And you have also Immolate, but Immolate is not good enough. Also, I thought, oh my god, Immolate. But yeah, you had before, also this is weaker now, but with this Curse of Agony, you could kill the Reno possibilities of your opponent. I mean, you still can. Because the old Reno, also the Reno Jackson minion card still has and Sephris still have the condition that you have no duplicate in your deck right now. Only the character Reno card is different. But you have anti-Reno tools. You have really, you are overall just great. Yeah? And this is a deck that I played a lot, also not right now, but before Reno Warlock, when even Shaman was even more there, Reno Warlock was like my absolute favorite deck against it. And I kicked ass with it. Because Defy is not so strong against even Shaman unless he summons the 1/1 totem, but Dark Sky, for example, is, yeah? Dark Sky was really, really good. Then you have the 7 mana guy that I did not put here, and that seems not to be in the stack. That is basically a Defy, but with 2 damage. As I mean, 7 mana minion is very expensive, but really, really good. Also, you can mess with the deck of your opponent. Before, the Reno Warlock also had the 10 mana card, also recently. The 10 mana card that destroys half of your deck and half of the deck of your opponent. And this is just really, really ugly. Your opponent does not know what he still has left and so on. Ui, ui, ui. Really nice deck. Kazakus is not good enough for this anymore, but yeah, I love this shit here. Yeah, this was like my life here. Okay, last class. We are nearing the end. We have Warrior. We have the Reno Warrior, we have the Enraged Warrior, which has a wrong name in my personal opinion, and we have a Mechatoon Warrior. Enraged Warrior is wrong because Enraged is when you damage your own minions. Also, okay, you do it here, but also, okay. Let me be different. Wait. Okay, I know why I made as usually I try to be in an alphabetic order. This time I will do it. I will go to, okay, no. Okay, forget what I was saying. Okay, because they have a similar combo. Okay, the Enraged Warrior has a wrong name in my opinion because you have 2 different ways of this. You have this way, and you have a way with a Berserk who gets damaged when everything is damaged, and then you use the Warsong Commander in both variations to give the guy charge. Yeah? Because first he gets charged, then he gets a power up. It's either this pirate here or this Berserker. This particular variation, which is pretty good, moves like this. You have this weapon, it has attack equal to your armor. you generate a lot of armor, and then you play Warstorm Commander and then this Pirate who gets all the damage from the weapon, because it cannot damage, you cannot attack the hero. Yeah? But when this has you have 50 armor, it has 50 damage, then he gets 50 and he goes into phases. Then he really goes into town, yeah? This is pretty strong. How you generate armor is with these three guys. This Risky Skipper, the Pirate, the Armor Smith, and very good is this Rockstar. You play totems, most likely you would have totems here. No, okay, it's in the Mechatoon, I guess. You play this Risky Skipper, Armor Smith, or you play Armor Smith, Risky Skipper, and then this Rockstar. Then he damaged everything, and then you get one armor for everything that is damaged. But since you have this one, you get a serious upgrade. You get 3 armor instead of 1. So in the next deck, it's with totems that cost 0, and then you can generate a lot of armor in one turn, especially if you have 2 times this. Yeah, when you have like 5 minions and then you play one, then you make then you have 6, then you get 18 damage just like this. When you have 2 of those, then it's like then it's 36 damage just like this. Yeah, it's like that, it's just the way it is. Then you can scale up your armor pretty tough, pretty quickly, pretty hardcore shit. Overkill. Yeah, this is really bad, and then you have like the armor you need to make this attack. Needless to say, it's bad against Ice Block or so, because then you cannot kill the guy, but yeah. Then you have the Mechatoon Warrior. That is a deck that my dear Prophecy gave me, and that I underestimated so much that I feel ashamed of it. I thought it's a shit deck, and it turned out to be pretty nice, actually. You have this armor combo, you damage your stuff, you can draw a lot when you have damage stuff. Also here this Battle Rage, draw a card for each damage character. When you have a lot of damaged minions, you draw a lot of cards. This here costs less for each one that is damaged. For example, if you have these 3 and you are damaged yourself, it's 0. Then this card draws a card and repeat it for each different minion type you control. This is a Quibor, this is a Pirate. You have a Totem and a Mech. Yeah? So this is like also stuff that you can draw 5 cards pretty easily. Yeah? Then the end game combo looks like this. You draw out everything, and then you play this Chemical Spill. This will put the Mechatoon on the board, and with all the armor you have, you play a Shield Shatter. Also, these are the last 3 cards you play. Yeah? Chemical Spill brings Mechatoon, then you Shield Shatter. And also your board dies from this because nothing has so much, also more than 5 health. Yeah? And yeah, then you win the game if your deck and your hand is empty. I often had games where I had still something in my deck. Also, I mean, I had to wait. Or I overdraw. I had cards on my hand that draw me cards. But you can easily generate 100 armor like this here. Yeah? And then you can, I mean, you need to survive 1-2 turns. And then, what's really good to see also from the depths, where you can get card draw pretty early, pretty cheap. This is also very good, this card here. Very good. Yeah, very nice deck. Prophecy, I'm sorry, I was so wrong, but I told you this often, I know, I think. Very good. It's not the strongest deck, but, also absolutely not. It's like tier 2, tier 3, I don't know, but but when you... Now, okay, it's more tier 3. Because when you play against an aggro deck, you don't have so many board clears. This is a board clear and Shield Shatter is a board clear, which you can only use 1 time. Because the second time you need it for your Mechatoon, basically, right? So, and it can be pretty... Also it can happen pretty easily that you cannot use this guy to its fullest, or you don't draw him. And when you don't draw him, you cannot generate the armor that you need for the Shield Shatter. So you are actually you are not really good against aggro. Because when aggro can kill you at turn 4, then you did not have enough time to prepare. Yeah, but yeah, pretty nice deck. I liked it very much. So, last deck is Reno Warrior. This is the last deck, guys. Yep. Oops. Ha 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 ha. I thought it will start again. So, ab aktueller Folie, so. This is the last deck. The Reno Warrior is a deck that is in Standard much more present than in Wild. You have, of course, the same motives. You have Bran. Odin before was buffed by Bran 2, right? They changed it pretty quickly. And then you have, also you had a lot of Odin Warrior before. Odin Warrior was pretty good control deck that was also good against aggro. And then you had, I'm sorry, it's almost 6 in the morning for me. You had a control deck that had the opportunity to become a combo deck, also that can kill the opponent. Yeah, now you became a Reno deck. Yeah, you have Bran, of course. When you have no duplicates, you trigger battle cries twice. There are a lot of battle cries that you can abuse, like Mutanos, like this guy here. You can draw a lot of cards. Dirty Red, you lower tap, like everything that we had in the Reno deck before, right? These are all battle cries, basically. Also, these are all battle cries, right? Also, Seth, okay, Kazakus, this is not what's happening here, but Seth is battle cry, Reno, okay, my god, also Seth, and then you have Dirty Red, Lower Tap, Mutanos, etc. These are all battle cries that are very present in in Reno decks, I'm sorry. It's so late. And this is everything that you can abuse, and there's even more. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know the depths of abusiveness that lie here. Of course, you want to abuse this Bombos Togrun. This is also very, very tough shit. As when you are control against control, as Reno against Reno, this is, of course, something that is pretty good for you. Then you have anti-aggro tools like Bladestorm, Lord Baroff. Bladestorm is particularly good because it does not only kill small fry, but it kills, like, when your opponent, for example, I play in a fire. Okay, in a fire is different because I also play a lot of elementals and then I buff an elemental, but he can kill in 30 minion just like this when it's alone, and this is pretty bad. Here also the Bran is still not nerfed in the deck list. I apologize for this. Yeah, Reno Warrior is abusive of battle cries. It is not particularly strong in my opinion, but it is good against other Reno decks when you have this guy, right? Because he disrupts other Reno possibilities for your opponent. Plus, also you can also do like here, shit, of course, you can do these battle cries, put a bomb in your opponent's deck and shit like this. Yeah, this is actually what you do, I believe. Yeah, also, you can disrupt other Renos pretty well. I don't know how good he really is against aggro. I don't play Reno Warrior. To be honest, I played Odin Warrior a bit because it was good against aggro, and I love shit that is good against aggro. But I cannot really tell you the depths of how good it really is in Wild. I would estimate it's nice. Teotar, also such a hardcore bad deck, bad card, yeah. I should have here, Reno decks have often Teotar and etc. Also, Teotar is really hard, such a disgusting card, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good, I would say, but I cannot tell you how good it really is, yeah. The problem I always have with Reno Warrior is that this Odin stuff is not so focused on. When you have Odin Warrior, you have shield block 2 times. Then you have this card that gives you 10 armor and stuff like this. Then in your ETC you have this character card that has hero power for a heroic kill you get 4 armor, but it gets a 5 attack weapon plus 10 armor. So when you have Odin and then you play this character, then you have 15 damage just by playing this, and this is what's missing here in the Reno Warrior. So it's not my type of bread. I don't know what you Americans, English people say about this. Yeah. So this were all the decks that were significant in my opinion. I hope that it helped you here or there. I hope that you like it and that my work is worth something. So, also the more people that see this, the more my work paid off. Because if only one guy would watch this, then for what did I do this, right? But the more watch it, the better, of course. I mean, I would love if you make comments. I am a streamer, but I stream most likely in German. Most of the time, if you say hi and I'm English or so, if you say hi, how are you or so, I will of course talk in English to you. But most of the time, I'm a German streamer. I think I want to switch to English just to have a bigger audience. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. I hope this helps you. You will have the deck codes below. Yeah, what can I say more? Yeah, I hope you like it. Thank you for everything and have a wonderful time and take care, guys, yeah?